Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk animated shows and movies here, especially Miraculous Ladybug and the Owl House. Find everything about us at overlyanimated.com. I'm your host, Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
April Collins.
Hi there.
And Allie Martin.
Hey.
We have a full house to talk about the very big ending to Season 2 of the Owl House. We'll be talking about the two finale episodes, Clouds on the Horizon and King's Tide. King's Tide aired yesterday as of this recording, and we will be getting into full spoilers for all of Season 2 of the Owl House. Now we can say that. So make sure you have checked out the finale, King's Tide. Big spoilers coming up probably right away here. And check out our other Owl House podcasts. We've been talking about Season 2 and the whole show. Over at overlyanimated.com, you can search for Overly Animated Owl House, wherever you listen to podcasts. Lot to get into here. We're going to start off with people's initial thoughts, and then we're going to get into all the big things from last episode, and we won't forget about Lumity. That's coming up later, so check the podcast description for the timestamps if you want to skip to any topic we're going to be discussing. Let's start off with, obviously a lot to get to, and we can get into details later, but the overall thoughts and reactions you had to both parts of the finale, Michelle.
So it aired yesterday / midnight, and I've been sitting and I haven't stopped thinking about it since it aired. Part of me is really happy that so much of what we theorized was wrong. That's very satisfying in a way that, and that's not to say, we definitely, called some things that I think are still very much true. But, the fact that their plan to usurp the Day of Unity, didn't really work at all. And just the fact that Belos is no longer the threat he has been built up to be for 2 whole seasons, and just the stuff with King, so much happened that I didn't expect, and it was great because in the moment I was just screaming in surprise the whole time, and rewatching it, it was just so nice to see how. Because it's not that, changing the plan from what we expect, having these surprises didn't take away from the enjoyment at all. And honestly, I think I added to it 5 times over, because it's so nice when shows like this can still surprise you so much and they don't go away you expect, even though you've been given enough crumbs to presumably put together an idea of what's going to happen. Oh my God, so much happened in the last episode. It was crazy. I don't know how they fit it all in, but I was very happy. At this point, I'm just I don't even know how to handle Season 3 based on how everything is set up at this point. It's going to be nonstop, relentless insanity the whole time is the only thing I can think of.
Let's hope so. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's hope so. That would be the best case.
Yeah, we'll speculate a little bit about Season 3, but also definitely give what happened here its due. And we will go over what we got right, what we got wrong, and what is not clear yet. I think that'll be very fun, because we speculated a lot this
season.
Oh,
yes.
There's a lot.
I didn't get my let me get my bingo card out.
Okay.
Yeah. We can make the bingo as we go.
Perfect.
April, what did you think of the finale?
It was very emotional for me. I never do well with goodbyes, and I felt like there was a lot of goodbyes, which hopefully means that there will be a lot of reunions coming up in the future. But besides that, I'll agree. I'm also glad that none of our predictions were correct, but at the same time, I was just well, I couldn't have predicted this. And I was kind of stunned by it all. And even going back and watching the final 2 episodes together versus separated by a week, there's a lot of kind of hints and I don't know, you kind of catch on as you're watching, especially in Clouds on the Horizon, that something big is going to happen, obviously, but knowing what is coming, you're oh, I feel like didn't like completely give it away, but there were just tiny enough like touches. I thought that both of these episodes were just so well done, and my props to the crew for sure. Like the animation was just kind of a little bit stunning, and that I guess that's to be expected whenever you have such like big moments, and these episodes were just so momentous for the series. So yeah, I keep having like moments where I think about it and I get sad. And there was just a lot that was going on in these last 2 episodes, which like gives me hope for the final 3. But yeah, it's just, I'm emotional.
Understandable. Yeah. How's everyone feeling after the last episode? Is a lot of people are sad,
stressed.
Yeah,
stressed is a good one. Yeah.
Okay.
Stressed for sure.
Okay, I'm happy, but I'll get
And excited.
You're
honestly.
happy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then we're gonna unpack that.
Okay, Dylan.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
happy. But first,
Okay,
Allie,
okay.
what were your thoughts and reactions to the finale?
I'm not to be a broken record, but I'm also glad that some of our predictions didn't come true, and
To
especially
be
the
fair,
ones
we predicted a lot right. We've been
predicted-
saying
got
that
a lot
lot.
right.
I think
Yeah.
at least
Right.
40% was correct. To be fair,
We got a lot right. I'm gonna start off with Lumity Kiss. Obviously, is my favorite moment because
Yes.
you know who would say otherwise if you're watching this show. But also, I just keep thinking about King. Like I know King's Tide obviously was gonna focus on him because his name is in the ding dang title, but like the way that it went
ding ding.
beyond my expectations of what were to happen, and also not really in like a devastating way because obviously he's like kind of safe for now, but just all the stuff that like he's been through this whole second half of the season. He's dealing with so much, and he's just a little baby, and I keep thinking about his just arc as a character. It's very great. I loved seeing the Hex Squad interacting together and fighting together. Hunt Low interactions were chef's kiss. Gus being on screen and having important things to do was wonderful.
Yes, that too.
Ida and Rain, I have a lot of thoughts. The way that the show keeps making its characters always relevant, even though they're like not, always at the center of the episode. It's so good. And I really like what's going on with Belos / Philip / evil man. The collector.
Boy.
Collector, obviously we're thinking about him a lot. I'm just, like I said before, I'm stressed, but I like to sit and stew in a season finale and when we have time to think about what's going to happen next and how everything played out. I'm really excited for the last 3 episodes, even though, obviously no one wants it this way, but I'd like that Dana said, or she pointed out that, what is it? Limitation breeds innovation or something like that. And she's absolutely right. I'm really excited to see where they're going to go from here. And I want time. I know we all want to keep watching, but I really want like at least a year to just sit with this. And I know we're probably going to
At least a year.
I want time.
I would like maybe 5
June
months.
2023. You want the specials
I
then?
might go
I'll
crazy
take, like,
a year
6
from
months.
now. Yeah, like 6
don't
months
want the
is
show
my
to end.
my
You guys don't
threshold.
understand.
Yeah.
I don't want it to end.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
fair.
That
Well,
is-
we
I
can-
want
we
it
can-
to
we
go
might
on for
talk
as long
about
as
that.
possible, which means I'm fine waiting for a year. I'm sure it'll be 6 months, but I'd prefer a year in a lot of
Man,
ways. Because the show's so
that's
good.
going
I
to
don't
be a
want it to end.
beautiful episode.
It's great.
All that time.
Yeah, that's the thing. The distance makes the heart grow fonder, and time does the same. So just let us wait and have this. Also, Dana, please pay for my therapy because I'm gonna need a lot of it after the show ends.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
call Sasha. So the
No, she doesn't exist.
That would make it too distracting. If Sasha's your
honestly.
therapist.
I can't get the hots from my therapist.
Oh my
Mhm.
god. Okay, so my thoughts. So great finale. I think it's a really strong 2-part finale. And I think they work really well together too. I watched them back together, and it's a great part 1 into part 2.
Mhm.
They're both really good episodes. we've had more time with Clouds on the Horizon. I'm definitely super confident that's a great episode. King's Tide it's also great. But the last 10 minutes of both episodes are really excellent. And then there's good build up before that as well. Favorite parts of Clouds on the Horizon. The kiss is amazing. We're going to talk about it. I love, the Amity's parents stuff. The switch is fun. And just overall, it's one of the best Amity episodes. I wasn't expecting that in the finale. So I loved that. In King's Tide, it's super fun. It's jam packed. We go right away into the draining spell. It's very exciting. The only negative emotions are kind of surrounding how there's no further Belos reveals in this episode. Definitely I have part of me was a little bit disappointed. That being said, there's time in the specials and we'll talk about that. We'll unpack that. But that was kind of my reaction was, wow, this was great. It's super exciting, but there's a little bit disappointed with the Bell stuff. But we'll dive into it. I love the whole sequence with the collector being freed. We even have a little moment with Amity with the Mittens nickname revealed. I thought that was great. Luz and Amity were fighting together very briefly. We wanted that.
Yes! And protecting each other.
Yeah, protecting each other. I love the ending on Earth. See, that's why I'm happy. I love Luz and Amity and everyone else as well on Earth. I've always wanted this. This isn't really how we envisioned it would go.
At what cost? So,
yeah, that's
at every cost, but that's fine.
We're hoping, they're on Earth for a little bit, going some dates on Earth. I don't know if we're going to get that. Not a great situation, but
get at least one date, I'm positive.
Maybe if we could go on 20 more adventures.
Yeah, then we'd have time for that, but maybe not. I loved Luz putting the sigil on Belos. It was a great moment. And then Ida and Rain, two big scenes in the finale. I thought this was by far the best Ida and Rain content of the season in this last episode. Loved their goodbye and then Rain saving Ida at the end. I've wanted to be fully on board with Ida and Rain. I just haven't emotionally gotten there. I got there in this last episode.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Team, yeah.
Yes,
we don't have t-shirts.
Does this meet after the Hunt Low Club? Is that it?
Yes, this is the follow-up. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then Lumity's Club as always, right?
Yeah.
But no, that was great emotional content. In general, I've talked about how Owl House growing to combine all its plot lines. There's so much interweaving in these last two episodes. This is kind of the pinnacle of what they've been working on in really bringing all of the many plot lines the show has going together, and it went really well in these last episodes. Tons of back and forth scenes with various characters and plots, and it's all integrated extremely well. I was super impressed by that. So great finale here. Lots to get into. I don't even know what the number one headline is really to talk about.
Yes, you do.
What would you say? I have the Day of Unity here first. The Lumity kiss.
I know what it is.
Should we talk about the Lumity kiss first? No, we're not. I think we're going to talk about.
I'm just saying that's the biggest one, but we don't have to talk about it first.
No, in terms of the show, it's not. Because they would have put it in the last episode.
Not in terms of the Owl House, but in terms of just generally.
See, now when you say in terms of the Owl House, are you talking about the game that they're playing or the show?
Obviously. The game we play is the show we watch weekly. I'm telling you, we play this game every week.
Is this a meta commentary? We're the ones playing the Owl House by watching the Owl House?
1000%.
Look, we're basically gods. So
are we the collector? Is that what this is a metaphor?
Yes. I called it.
We have that control. I mean, I guess we have the ability to stop the show at any time. So that's kind of a godlike power.
Whoa, that's a terrifying concept.
Wow. Interesting.
But we the viewer can't stop the show at any time. We don't get that choice.
But does the owl have?
Is Disney the collector?
Yeah. They're existential, but
no, they're 1000% the collector. They collect Marvel. They collect Star Wars.
Yeah, Disney is collecting properties for sure.
They are the ultimate collector villain.
Okay, let's start with the Day of Unity or the draining spell. That's what we've been building up towards all season. It was eventually stopped, but only because the collector was freed. Although Luz, she did
a real smart thing. I'm so proud of her for that.
It was smart.
It's so
clever. It's unfair.
Seems like it wouldn't have been successful in stopping the Day of Unity, but it would have taken Belos down with them, right?
Oh yeah. Everyone would have died, including
talking
him.
for that long. That's all I want to know.
She got into his head about being insecure going home. It was amazing.
Yeah, insulted.
But
his
she was
fashion. Yep.
also not wrong about
Yes,
like,
exactly.
how much the world has changed since he's been there.
They the best lies are ones with a little truth in them. So she
Do
found.
you think that Luz would have taken Belos to a thrift shop and gotten him some swag?
Look, there's still season 3.
Oh yeah, he's there.
He's there on Earth. We'll
He
talk
would
about
have
it.
to wear a really small shirt, considering he's shrunk a bit since the end of that episode.
Extra small.
It's gonna be the cutest shirt ever, though. It's gonna be like an anime shirt. I can already tell.
Oh God. That's
Put him in
humiliating.
a Naruto t-shirt.
Oh no! Hasn't this man been humiliated enough?
No.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, so the collector's free. It stops the draining spell. The plan was, I guess, first of all, like, what do we expected? I guess everything to go wrong, but actually, the day is saved. How are we feeling about that, Michelle? Is this a good outcome?
Do we know the day is saved?
We don't really know.
Well, we know that everyone didn't get killed by their draining spell. So in terms of that, that is an upside.
Wait,
that
do
is
we know
good.
that do we know the Coven heads didn't get
So
killed?
we saw some people waking up.
But
not the heads.
I don't think they died.
Okay,
No,
so we can say this
sure.
off the bat. There's been, I've seen talk of like, Rain is dead. I definitely don't think that's confirmed
No
by the
way.
episode.
No.
The Coven had seemed to suffer more than
Yeah.
everyone else, so they could be in trouble, but we don't know.
Maybe their magic is limited now or something.
Yeah, they could have some kind of repercussion, but I don't think anyone actually died because they, it stopped, so it didn't get to complete its thing. So
True.
I don't think they would be dead. I liked it. I mean, I love that the show is like, all right, we're the draining spell didn't work, but now we got this crazy godchild who's going to destroy the entire world and make a game out of it, and that seems like an equally big problem, frankly. So
If not
it's like,
more so.
yeah, you get like one thing, but then the alternative plot thing is even worse than that somehow. So now you got to mentally prepare for that. And I love that that's happening.
I mean, is that worse than death?
I think it's like
Probably.
it's like the foreboding nature of like, well, it's we could die at any time now, but we don't know how. At least with the draining spell, we knew exactly what to plan for.
And like this kid is gonna toy with us until we
Yeah,
die, so who knows how
yeah.
long.
Like
Can
a
we-
big,
That's very
like a big
fair.
cat.
Can we
You
say
got
that
one
King made the right decision, I think, to free the
Oh,
collector?
yeah.
Considering
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
was dying, like, this is definitely a better option, even if it's an unknown, so the unknown's better than certain death.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying about his character. Like we went from season 1 for him wanting to control everybody and like have that him be worshipped, and now he's just saving people because he loves them and cares about them. He's a good little boy, and I'm afraid for him because the collector definitely wants to kill him or something.
Well, I think he's the one person that's on the collector's good side right now.
Yeah, the
Definitely.
collector wants to play with him, not necessarily hurt him. So
true.
that's actually great.
Could be
for
sadistic
him.
playing, like
That's the thing.
yeah.
Yes,
Playing for the
it's up to
collector is
King
like-
to pivot where necessary to stay alive. Probably at this point.
I think the only thing that he really has going against him right now is the fact that it's confirmed or slightly that his father was the person who imprisoned the collector.
Yes.
Yes.
exactly.
And so, I mean, sometimes children hold grudges, and that
Yeah,
might be like the only like thing that might be used against him is like, you have to play with me
Yeah,
because your dad did this.
let's come back to that when we talk about the collector and the collector's motivations. I mean, that's going to be an interesting discussion. Other things that happen with the Day of Unity, Rain takes off Ida's hand to save Ida.
So smart.
Yeah.
So Ida
Because-
seems to be okay,
Genius.
Ida's definitely fine.
but
Yeah.
did seem to lose her hand.
Yeah, so she's okay, but she is down one hand.
She'll get a different kind of
I'm
one,
hoping
right?
she gets a prosthetic. Yeah, I would love that for her.
Ooh.
Considering Ida like pops on and off her hand, I feel like she's probably the
Not
person
the
who this is
worst.
the least
Yeah.
big deal to.
And she's left-handed, someone
That's
pointed
true.
out.
Oh, wait, is she left-handed? Oh,
Because she
thank
draws
goodness.
the glyphs with her left
She can
hand.
Yeah.
still carve talismans then. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's better.
She'll just have Rain hold them for her.
I do
Ooh, yeah.
appreciate that they made it a point to remind us that Ida can like just take her body parts off.
Yeah,
Like, I
beforehand.
kind of forgot about that.
The show does so much
She hasn't done it
foreshadowing.
in a while.
Yeah, and it's a good play off of one of those initial concept things that the Owl House did, which is Ida randomly being able to manipulate her body parts and stuff, and they actually add it to the plot. The show's been doing so much stuff like that, right? Like taking these like random quirky things from the setup of the show and having them play into these big plot moments. It's been really good this season. And so the draining spell spot. So do we think everyone is alive? Like,
Probably.
I think so.
I think so as well.
How can we
Belos is alive after getting like wrecked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, he also slurped up talismans for like 500
That's
years.
true.
He's his own thing, but yeah, I think they're all tired and kind of maybe like not 100% okay, but I don't think they're actually I don't think they're dead, any of them.
They probably need to rest.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean,
Which they're not going to get.
no.
Like they're wants to play now.
They may not be as like magical as they used to be. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about
They're
that in a
probably
second.
wondering.
What about their mental state of being?
I mean,
Like, no
that's
one's
true.
mentally
We're
okay.
talking physically okay. That's different.
I do think
Mentally
the
average.
coven heads are a question mark, and we will see. But there's no way Rain is dead. Just so you know, fandom.
no.
They're not doing that. So they're probably. I mean, we don't really care
Diversity
other than
win.
Darius and Rain and maybe Everwolf. So whatever. But we'll see about that. And we got to meet the other cool new coven heads as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll play a role in the specials.
Gotta know their names.
Like the
Yeah.
beardy guy and the tall hatted person. I want to know
Yeah,
what their
what-
deal is.
His power
Yeah,
was
who are
like
they?
stank breath. What was
Yeah,
that?
what is going on there? I have so many questions.
What
for
was that?
them.
What coven head were they? I wasn't paying attention.
I have no idea.
It
I
wasn't
also
important enough to
appreciated the
miss it.
ones who had
Scarecrow's
like the
tank
Thor's
coven.
hammer. He's like, this is my Thor hammer. I use
That
it.
guy I liked. He
Yeah, I
was
liked his
very-
design. He was cool.
Yeah.
It was. I made a brief fight with them. It was fun. But let's talk about the collector. Obviously, this all stuff was all interplayed, but trying to segment a little bit. So the collector, King frees the collector. Collector then proceeds to do a ton of things in a row, including killing Belos, stopping the draining spell,
Moving the
making an owl house.
making
Yeah,
an owl house, which we can talk about. So what's our I think this is one of the most interesting things to talk about. Like, what's our impression of the collector? We finally meet them. He's just a kid, right? Like, but Kiki says collector is from the stars, not a witch or a demon.
yes,
if that's
which
to be
is very
believed.
interesting.
But also emphasis on a child from the
The
stars.
child of the stars.
So
Mhm.
how many years, eons has this thing been alive?
Yeah.
it's still considered a child.
If they're a god and they're immortal, it could take forever, right?
Like,
for
are they
them
a
to
child
actually grow
forever?
up. I don't know. Maybe it just takes for like in terms of human lifespan, it's just so many.
Is it like a
centuries
Peter
to
Pan
age.
situation? Like,
Oh no,
you just never age.
he's just a lost boy.
April, what was your impression of the collector? Like, are you afraid? Are you happy that they're here?
I had a feeling you would ask me this question first. and and I wish I had like a very straightforward answer, but because I have an affinity towards villains,
I
and
thought you were going to say children. I was like,
no.
oh, April.
But I love like when things are so cute and terrifying at the same time, and that's the impression that I get from the collector. Like, to be able to harness all of that power and like not even kind of realize that you're that powerful, or maybe he does at this point, but I love it. And I'm kind of like, I'm kind of sad that we aren't going to really get to see any more of the collector potentially until everyone's back in the demon world. But I was like, yes, this is my character.
Interesting.
So I can't help it. I love like evil characters, or like innocently evil. It's
Especially
fun.
those kinds of evil characters are the most interesting.
Yeah,
figure
because like it's really just hard to predict where their
Exactly.
motivation is and
Yeah.
like what their end game kind of is too. Because I mean, it seems like the collector just wants to play, and
Mhm.
like he's been in timeout for all of these years, and now he's finally free to go wreak havoc on the world.
Somebody give him a PS5 and he'll be calm.
Just put him in front
Just
of
give the kid an iPad. Yeah, that's how it works.
No.
Stimulation videos.
But the character design is so interesting because I love that, like, you still get, like, the shadowy mark on his face from, like, the sort of initial character design of being just a shadowy figure. So I liked that, and I love, like, the little, like, stars and moons, or the suns and moons. And the music for the Collector is so brilliant.
It's so good, right?
It's, like, fun, but also creepy at the same time. Oh, yeah. I love it.
I loved the point you made that the Collector was in timeout, and so what I was going to say was, like, the Collector's main motivation seems to just be wanting to play, but maybe it's just wanting to play in response to just coming out of timeout. Maybe the Collector will calm down at some point, or have other things that he wants to do.
It's possible, but, like, I mean, think about any time that you were in timeout. The first thing you wanted to do was go play again, because...
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Or have
Even
mac
if
and
he
cheese.
does want to calm down again, like, if he was in timeout for centuries, that play's probably going to last a long time, too, right?
But also, like, what
Balancing.
did they do to get into timeout? Because that's kind of what I'm the most concerned about.
That's what I'm saying.
Because...
Like, King's dad hit him for a reason.
Yeah, like, you get put in timeout for a reason. And I don't know about everyone else's children, but when I was a child, whenever I got put into timeout, the first thing that I went to go do was obviously play, but then try and get away with whatever it was that I had done before again. So
Big Collector vibes there.
April's the Collector confirmed.
Yeah,
I'm always the villain confirmed.
And
Part of me wonders if King's dad, like, maybe you can't literally kill a god, right? So the best he could do was trap him and hope that no one ever, like, they made it so difficult to find him, no one ever would, and that's, like, sort of,
Yeah.
a solution.
Well,
But...
and then my next, I guess, like, theory in terms of the Collector in regards to, like, King is I wonder if that's how King's father died.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, that was the power that was needed in order to...
Oh,
no.
like
that
like
amount
a
of
sacrificial.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tragic.
Devastating.
Yeah,
this is how my brain works.
We very briefly learned that King's dad, presumably who's the Boiling Isles, trapped the Collector, and also the Collector can't see King because of the necklace that King's dad gave him. That was protecting him. Yeah.
Love that.
That's
because
coming
the
into
symbol,
play.
The fact it's the island that's coming into play because that's why it was hidden. It had that glyph everywhere on the island. And then King wrote it on his collar because he wanted to find out what it means. I love that coming back. That was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, episode 3.
8 or something like. Wow. Oh no, yeah, it was 3. It was really early.
It was a long time ago.
Michelle, how screwed are we with the Collector Free? That's a big question.
Screwed?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the thing, right? This is why I'm like, if you can't kill a god, what are you gonna? You can't. Then what does defeat mean, right? I'm assuming at this point it's gonna have to be a thing where, like, King is able to talk to the Collector in a way that where the Collector maybe either, like, understands what he's doing a little more and tries to stop, or, like, goes home to see his parents in the sky behind the stars or whatever, because there's no way to, like, physically destroy him. And it also seems like too simple. I don't think the Owl House would want to obliterate somebody as kind of complicated, because, like we're saying, like, his motivations are so... They're not as clear cut as Philip. Like, he had this very specific, like, racism situation and like thinly veiled misogyny too, probably on top of that. But, like, we understood where he's coming from. It was very easy to see, like, what his goals were. With the Collector, it's like, I don't know. He wants to play right now. Maybe he's gonna want something else in 500 years. But he's not malicious. But he also, like, there will be consequences clearly if you cross him. That was demonstrated, like, the second he got out and goop splattered Belos, which is honestly, like, the most badass thing. I was like so shook. It was such a great move on the show's part to just, like, demonstrate the power of the Collector so quickly to get everyone on board with how dangerous this person was.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
very smart.
So my answer is like it depends on how King plays this, how worried they should be. But even if he's able to be pretty good friends with him for a while in the immediate future, like the threat is so high because we have no idea what the Collector could do and when he could change his mind. He's too unpredictable to ever feel safe around him right now. So that's just pretty bad, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was gonna be real quick to like
the
the rest of the characters who like
too, right? Yeah. And King's like, hey, wait, focus, game time. Let's stop this.
Yeah, was seeming maybe about to also splat
I
the
think
kids.
maybe it's
Oh god,
not.
absolutely.
Yeah, we can't rule it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed very obvious just by asking or just by saying like, you guys look slow too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he said tag with Belos. It's unclear how much this was like vindictive, how much is.
Oh, it was definitely, I think, a little bit just because,
1,000%.
Because he's like, you threw me over the side of the thing, so he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but maybe the tag with the kids would have been different since they didn't do that to him. But we don't.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
wondering if also he doesn't know his. I mean, maybe he does know his strength, but also because he's a god, his strength is very different from like people or witches. So he still could have hurt them even if he didn't mean to.
100%. They're like ants to him, right? Like it just he doesn't really think about it the same way you would if you were a person to another person.
I think coming in, I was expecting the Collector to be like a chaos god.
Yeah,
he looks like it. The design,
like the design, just the whole role in the show,
Yeah.
like a Clarion from Young Justice, like that type of character. And I still think he's like chaotic neutral. I would say in terms of his alignment. But definitely like it's different because he's got like he's the main impression is he's a kid who wants to play. So I think that's a little different than just being like a source of pure chaos.
He follows rules. He agreed to Philip's plan and he upheld his part of that
That's
bargain.
interesting.
And
he did the same thing with King.
Yeah, he did the same thing. Like so he is respectful of rules and agreements, which is at least something to go off of for how his mind works.
Yeah, chaos gods can honor pacts, but like he also wants like rules of the game, which I like. So I like that idea. There's structure to the games he wants to play.
I think he wants the structure so that he can find a way around it.
Oh god,
that could be.
Like, I mean, like that's kind of chaotic in a sense.
No, it is. It's like lawful chaotic. So you know the rules and then you work your way around.
Like, oh well, you told me that the rule was this, not that specific that like specific X or whatever.
Well, here's
really go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I like that they didn't possess Luz. I'm going to just put it out there.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I didn't expect that from them either because it doesn't seem like a game. That's just like Dylan, you were saying chaos. And like, sure, he is chaotic a little, but like that would be taking it a little too far for me. I'm just happy about that.
But also, what's more chaotic than a child?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, a powerful child's literally the scariest thing I could think of. So I love that as the ultimate antagonist for this show.
Yeah, seriously. We know what that's like as Americans.
Yeah.
Well, so the other big thing the Collector does is that the Collector is in the process, as the Luz and everyone goes to Earth, of turning here's my interpretation, the Titan skull into an owl house, apparently.
What is it going to look like?
Now,
Please
what does
say
that
booty.
mean, right? Because the Collector's not seen with our owl house. But I'm more interested in the Titan skull aspect of this. I didn't immediately think of this the first time watching, but here's the setup. So our main theory coming for the Day of Unity was that Belos would use the draining spell to get rid of the Boiling Owl's Titan skeleton, which would then result in magic being gone since that's the source of magic. Now, that seems to have not been true. Belos just wanted to kill everyone. We'll come back to that.
He's just a serial killer.
Just a serial killer. How boring. I mean, that's actually, we'll come back to that. But
he wasn't ambitious enough.
The result, the other half of our theory of the Titan skeleton would be gone at the end of the season, resulting in no magic. Is that what's happening here? Like, is he getting rid of the entire Titan? He at least got rid of the head just now.
Or if he reforms it, does that change the chemistry?
Oh yeah, is he reforming it? Is he getting rid of it?
I don't know, because like everyone who exists in the Boiling Isles has their biosec. Like that's not going to go away just because the bones go away. That's why I'd assume that if you got rid of everyone and the bones, then there's no trace. There's no source. But if you only get rid of the bones, it's kind of like a half and half situation.
I mean, there would not be the ability for more.
For new children,
right, so new kids, or like lose with the glyphs wouldn't work.
Yeah, well, and also it might be like it might take a while too because, like, evolution, you don't just go from one thing to another.
They're the last witches. Here's another issue, though. If he's getting rid of the whole Titan skeleton, isn't that what everyone lives on? Like, aren't you just getting rid of the ground?
I thought he was getting rid of the whole world, honestly. I thought all of the Boiling Isles.
It's very possible. He's just restructuring the entire Boiling Isles.
He's just making it a house, so everyone's going to live in that house
So
together.
it'll just be a giant house.
Does he also know? I mean, I guess he only knows from Belos, like, that witches have formed because of the Titan's decaying body, but does he know to get rid of, or does he even want to get rid of?
I don't think he wants to. He's just using the landscape to. It's like you have this board of Legos set up for a village. You're like, okay, we need to take this apart to make a new game thing.
Yeah.
So
but it's not malicious, I don't think, on purpose.
He could have a hidden motivation here because he says, I want to play tag, but he also wants to get back at Belos and splats him, right? So maybe he's like, oh, I'm turning this into our playing ground, but he wants to take revenge on the Titan that imprisoned him, and this is his skeleton that he's doing this on.
That's true.
I guess either way it doesn't matter, but this is
he
a huge.
doesn't even know the rules of the game. How is he doing
What's
anything?
so funny? He's such a kid. He's just like, we're gonna do it. It's like, wait, you don't know any. King didn't tell you the rules yet. Slow down.
So I'm like, we really
making
an owl house.
Since we don't know his motivation, and King is just seemingly gonna just play along with him. What if we just come back at the end of the third special, and King has made friends with the Collector, and the Collector's just like, oh hey guys, we're playing house. I'm the parent.
I'm the bird too.
I'm the Ida.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
there's the lose.
Oh, actually, that's a great point. Maybe he can use the Owl House game to make sure that his immediate friends are okay. Because he's like, no, they live in the Owl House, so they need to be here too, right? Let's go get them.
Yeah, I kind of think King should make sure Ida and everyone's okay, but I'm a little worried about 99% of the population here if the Earth is being uprooted.
But the Collector also knows that you have to have thousands.
Oh,
of
King
people
said
to play
everyone
the
that
Owl
needs to
House.
play.
Yeah, he's like, we need thousands of people. So he in a way protected them. So if he starts offing people, then King can easily just be like, hey, yo, remember the game?
Easily, but
we need thousands of people.
How will this kid be dealt with? Because if you can't trap him and you can't kill him, the only way is to reason with him. And
exactly.
The show is all about finding a place where you belong, and it doesn't seem like the Collector belonged in space, and nobody liked him here either, or at least Belos didn't, and the Titan didn't. So what's gonna happen? How is he gonna be placated?
He's gonna have to. I think we're gonna need him to explain a little more who he is and where he came from. Maybe to determine that, but I agree, Allie. I think he needs to be reasoned with, and it's how do you reason with the godchild, right? That's the question.
But then if you can't reason with a godchild, then
back
the only
in the
other
Pokeball
thing
with you.
Yeah, but I feel like King won't want to do that, honestly.
No.
He won't want to trap that kid.
I don't think he'll want to at first, but again,
the stakes are so high.
He'll come
yeah, well, and I think that King has grown enough as a character to understand that, oh, there's a reason why you were trapped, and in order for I was going to say humanity, but that's not correct in the Boiling Isles. To continue on.
Organic life, I guess we could just say.
Organic life.
That covers
then
everyone.
We're going to have to, trap you once again. Which is, part of the thought process of where I came from. Oh, that's probably what happened to King's dad.
Yeah, so King's the Titan. He could grow to be powerful enough to trap the Collector like his dad did. So that's definitely a possibility.
But that would take a long time, right, to grow that.
Unless he can accelerate his growth somehow or something.
We also don't know how long they're going to be gone during these freaking
specials. We'll come back to that in a second.
Do we know how
it works the same?
I was gonna say, do we know how time works in comparison? But I guess it's the same.
It works the same, yeah.
and last we could eject the collector back into space, something like that.
Oh god.
That
Well-
sounds so sad.
He can
too,
easily
though.
come back though.
Yeah,
Could he,
like,
though?
what's stopping-
We don't know.
He
Well, we
came
learn
from
about the
there,
origins
his
of the
parents threw
collector,
him
so-
away. Like, how did he even?
Are there
Yeah.
parents
They
to
just
the
dropped
collector?
him
There's
off
gotta
on
be.
this
If there's a
planet.
child, there's always
They forgot to
someone who
pick him up
made
from
the
school. They had
child.
work to do.
And
If
we're
you think of
different for gods.
if you think of the collector more as a god than like a kid, well, we meet other gods too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm very interested in what the restructuring of the Earth that is the Boiling Isles will look like, and what that will mean for magic. There'll be some consequences, assuredly, even if it doesn't mean the destruction. Although I think like everything's basically in play. I mean, they can kind of do what they want with the rules, considering they're upending everything. And just, I mean, are they just going to come back to a giant house? Will it stay like that for the entire
Yeah.
specials?
Floating
like, probably
in
not.
nothing, floating in space, a big crumbly bone house of death.
Oh my god.
I
Oh,
love
no.
it.
Yeah,
No.
I like it
This
too.
house. We're gonna make this house a home.
God.
They're gonna try. Okay, let's talk of the ending. Luz, Amity, Willow, Gus, and Hunter are sent back to Earth by King, or King sends Luz back. The rest of them go voluntarily to escape the destruction of the Titan Skull. Big like heroic moment from King, of course, using his powers to to circumvent Luz's attempted big heroic moment, which is nice. And they're back on Earth, and they go and knock on Camilla's door. With V is also there. So,
And Boone Joy?
Mom.
and there's an amphibia cameo there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was literally the craziest thing. Like, after they threw so much crazy stuff at us, then seeing Anne in the newspaper, it was just like, what is
The
happening
whiplash.
here?
I swear to God.
Truly, that this has everything. Even
But
Anne
then
Boone.
like, I'm sorry to go back, but on that note, because Anne exists here and her multiverse god exists, what if they and the collector
Oh.
know each other?
I mean, it was
Dun,
like
dun,
a
dun.
Yeah,
wait for the
presumably,
crossover.
the specials will just be a giant crossover, considering of that cameo.
Pop
Pre-
collector face off.
Oh my God.
The
You
old
guys
and the
how to
young.
deal with children.
Yeah.
The old versus young. Let's
Thank you,
go.
boy.
Generation wins.
Oh my
So I think we talked a little bit about our emotions from Luz being on Earth. I think the question of how long will they be there is a good one.
Mhm.
The thing is, Luz is going to try to go back immediately,
Yes. Yeah.
But she can't. So
but there's
then
no
what's she
method
gonna
right
do?
now. So what
Yeah.
then?
Well, I
Do you
feel
just
like-
mope? Yeah. What do you do?
I was going to say, I feel like between Luz and Amity, they both have really good reasons for trying to get back as soon as possible because Amity's family is all there, and I'm sure like Willow and Gus would like
Their
to get back to
families
their
are there
families.
too.
Yeah, I think everyone
Yeah.
except Hunter has
Hunter's
big reasons.
literally-
Except
Yeah.
Hunter's like, I don't have anyone there anymore.
Hunter can
Here we
stay.
go.
Honestly, Hunter should just stay on Earth. That would be better
Yeah.
for
If
him.
the Palisman didn't follow them, he has Flapjack back there.
Oh, yeah, they probably
Oh.
didn't follow, or they probably wouldn't even exist on Earth.
Yeah,
in
because they
magic
can't
form.
summon their staffs
Oh,
without
I
magic.
I have a theory about how they're gonna get back.
Yeah,
you
so how
remember-
will they get back?
Yeah,
Yes.
so you
Yeah.
remember the creepy nerd guy from before?
No.
He's
Yes.
gonna come back because he knows all the stuff about the brothers and them leaving, and they left
true.
somehow. They got through to the other side, presumably
how.
without the door portal, right?
It was through rifts that were very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if they ask him, maybe he can help them pinpoint a rift, and they can go
Mm.
through a rift, and it's gonna be a whole thing. But I feel like that nerd boy's coming back.
Nerd
for
boy.
He
season-
definitely is.
Yeah.
Make
And-
it third boy.
The fact that Philip and Caleb, which we'll talk about, initially came to the Boiling Isles somehow, I think is the key. Whether it's that guy or Belos is on Earth in some form, and Belos leads them back.
Belos the Goop picks up a pencil and draws out his backstory.
right in the dirt.
Yeah.
Goop moves in the dirt, spells out a message.
Unless King.
Or yeah, can
convinces
they?
the
Himself
Yeah,
collector
can they?
to make
Can
a-
they get a portal over? Yeah, that's
I
true.
wonder.
The collector could definitely just make a new portal. Well,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but would he
Hmm.
want to? I mean,
Well, he-
because King wanted them safe, so I don't think he'd ask for a portal,
Yeah.
right?
it's actually not clear if the collector can, because
Yeah.
Belos didn't have the collector make the portal, right? Belos made
Yeah.
the portal.
But we
maybe
don't
that's-
know. The collector could
That's
probably do a
true.
lot of stuff freed, then he could do traps.
That's
so
true.
maybe
That-
freed.
that-
Right, that was the
Yeah.
that was a compromise. He's like, I can't trust you, so I'll just use you to murder everyone, but I'll find my own way back.
Oh yeah, one
home."
thing about the collector, by the way, Belos says you can't free the collector because the collector could just give powerful magic to anyone, and
anyone.
Belos hates magic.
One.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing: King is now the collector's favorite.
Mhm.
King might get super special powers from the collector. I
Oh.
think that's in play.
It might take a
Do you
lot
think
of
he'll
years
grow
to,
up
like,
super
train.
fast?
Well, yeah, the collector could make
know.
King grow up really fast if he needs it for the game.
Yeah.
That's true. He
Yeah.
did just move the moon
Yeah,
out of the
I guess
sun.
his power is infinite until we know otherwise, right?
Pretty much. He
Yeah.
is
I,
like
I
a
doubt
god.
Yeah.
he is. I can do anything, but considering he like moved the moon in
So
Just by
awesome.
moving his finger.
It was
That was
so,
so good.
casual. The Belos murder and moving the moon is just like, that tells you all you need to know about why he's so scary. Like,
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like,
it was
got
very
it.
effective.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's run away.
Yeah. So if we can't go back right
Understood.
away on Earth, what are we gonna do?
Slice of life date.
Um,
Slice of life date. Priority.
Are they? I don't think they're gonna be in the
I was
mood. That's the
gonna say,
sad part.
Oh, they gotta be in the mood. Come on.
How? That's. I mean, I feel
How-
like Amity would try to cheer up Luz by being like, "Now you can show me
Yeah.
around to take your mind off of it, at least for a little while."
That would
And
be
then we
Okay,
can also
but
have a
how is-
hunt load double date. You
Oh,
know.
yeah, Huntlow can go to the library to research how to get home, and then they're like hands
Library
touch
date,
on
yeah.
a book page as they're returning it, and they look at each other, and then they smooch in the library, and they get in trouble for being loud. Doing
With their
PA.
smooching.
Well, yeah, with the
With their
PA.
smooching.
Okay, one of the specials is 44 minutes of library date. Yeah.
Oh my
let's do
God.
it.
Yes. Well, and also Camila freaking out because her daughter's girlfriend is there and will be living with
And
them.
also
Yeah,
freaking
that
out
would
because
be a
she
good
has to
time.
take care
That's-
of 6 children.
Six-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And V can help maybe. But
Like he's
He is
16.
a child.
Everyone hopes that he can get a job at like
special child.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
He's a special child. They're
Yeah.
all gonna
Hunter,
have to
I
wear
appreciate
hats,
Hunter working
though.
at McDonald's. That's
that'd be
amazing.
fun.
I
Yeah.
All
can
gonna
see
have
him.
to wear hats to cover their ears, and I wonder how that's like. What outfits are they gonna have to
Oh.
wear?
Well,
to
maybe
blend
people will just
in?
think that they're LARPing all the time for fun.
That's true.
I was gonna say that Luz is like before was like the weirdo person, so that them hanging out with Luz, probably everyone would just be like, "Oh, that makes sense." Like,
Yeah.
They
That's
seem
what
like
Luz
weird
been to.
nerds too. Oh,
Liz
okay.
could just put fake ears on and then everything's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, well, they see those school people we saw for like a second. But I think the most exciting thing is like Lumity meeting Luz's mom, right? Like, so
I
Yes.
know.
we'll
I
see
can't
that in
wait.
some form, even if it's in a depressed form. We'll see
Do
Oh
we
my
that.
god,
think-
Amity can practice her Spanish on
Exactly.
Camila too. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be so cute.
Do you guys think that Luz is out to her mom?
We'll find out. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, she's
Yeah.
never
Because
had,
homophobia
like,
may not exist
yeah.
on the Boiling Isles. Hopefully, it doesn't exist on Earth in this universe either.
we-
I
But
we-
feel
we've-
like
we've
she's
talked-
gonna be
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, I think hopefully
Oh,
Camilla
definitely.
would be good.
I mean,
but
if
she's definitely
Amity's
going
mom
to
could
be.
that not be the reason for Amity's mom, I feel like anything's possible.
We've
Yeah.
talked about how this show
Yeah.
is probably not going to talk about explicit like labels and queer labels
Yeah.
and stuff. But if it were ever going to, now is right. Like is the
Mhm.
chance when they're on Earth where homophobia actually does exist.
I just don't think that they will because
Probably
the
not. They
show's just
will.
trying to make like queer
conflict for no
relationships.
reason.
Yeah, I mean, well,
normalized.
and like, yeah, they're just trying to make it normalized. Like,
I hope she just
it's
goes,
not
I
a
like
big
your
deal.
girlfriend's hair, but like, can she dye it her normal color?
Yeah.
Because it's controversial.
Aw.
And at the very least, she's going to like introduce Amity as
Yes,
her
her
girlfriend.
girlfriend,
Right?
yeah.
So
100%.
even if they don't talk about.
well, she
yeah,
has to.
Yeah.
It would be
Does she?
rude.
She should. But
They're
We
like,
could see,
living
we could see
together
Camilla
now.
being
It'll be too
protective.
obvious.
Like
Yeah.
maybe it's like that type of reaction to Amity.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
because then she doesn't want Luz to go back to the Boiling Isles forever. But that's where her
Yeah.
girlfriend is.
Camilla's probably not going to want Luz to go back.
Well, we
Yeah.
already know she
100%
doesn't want her to
no,
go
yeah.
back.
But maybe she'll understand, like when she gets to know the other kids, she'll be like, "Oh, all their parents are trapped in this other world." And
Just
that
let Camila
sucks."
come with
Yeah.
them. Let her bring her chancla.
Her
Everything will be
chocolate
fine.
to whack everyone.
She'll whack the collector,
The
and that'll calm
collector
him down.
will not expect that as an attack.
That's
That's
how we
100%
defeat the
true.
collector.
Yeah,
With
We
chancla.
bring in a
secret
mom.
mom, secret
It's
mom
happening.
weapon.
Yeah, so I think in terms of like going back, my initial prediction, just because it's 3 specials, you only have three segments to resolve the plot.
Mhm.
I kind of predict they go back in the first special, like back to the Boiling Isles. Like,
Like
it would
at
be,
the end of the first special.
maybe at
I
the
could see
end,
that.
but it's a lot to like a third of the rest of the time is on Earth. Like I think
Yeah.
that seems
Yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, this will probably like we'll get some stuff, but maybe like we get a little bit on Earth, then they find a way back, then we're back for like that epilogue or something. Or what if we're back and what if we're back and forth too?
That's my thing. We haven't done that where we haven't like. Well, have we ever had an episode where we spent time not with Luce actively being like the? Oh, we did.
Yeah, Labyrinth
that
Raiders,
one
yeah.
where they were the B plot. Yeah, so the show might not be afraid of doing that, just like spending time with like Ida and Rain for part of the episode. Then
we did. We had a whole episode where Lumity was the B plot, and also where no one except for Ida and Rain
Luz and Ida weren't in the episode. In Labyrinth
that is on the table, Dylan. Like maybe we don't have to go back super soon. Maybe just jump back and forth.
In terms of the episode, I think the episode will cut back and forth. Like I don't think we're gonna leave Ida and Rain. Are they alive in suspense? Like I think
hope not.
I think the show will cut from Earth to the Boiling Isles. I predict that. But in terms of Luz going back, that's like another story because the show could change perspectives, and it has shown the ability to do so. That's a good point. So there's a lot of this. It's just very the ending here is just very exciting, even if it's very like sad and stressful. It's just like such an interesting point where we could see so many different permutations of things play out in the specials. So I guess I wasn't anticipating that we'd kind of end on an amphibian note, and it's very interesting. Anticipating a lot of fun fan theories and fanfic. This could be a good fanfic point too for the AUs starting off.
I mean, we've got a year, so
apparently
we're not confirmed that it's a year. That's not confirmed.
Just what I want.
Okay, 6 months, fine. We can get some good fanfic in 6 months.
Yeah,
I'm
assuming we have some
hope
already.
It's at least half a year
already. The episode's been out for 24 hours, not even.
There's so bad.
Yeah.
They did it. Okay, let's come back to Belos. This relates to On Earth, but we'll finally talk fully about Belos. So Belos was splatted, as we discussed.
What a nice way to say that.
That's like the first term that jumped into my mind when I watched it. Oh, he got splatted.
What was your reaction when you saw it, Dylan? Did you scream?
No, I was surprised. Probably like that. Yeah, like I didn't expect the Collector to come and instantly kill Belos. I think we talked about possibilities like the Collector supplanting Belos as the villain, but we expected that the Belos would like either kill himself purposefully or be defeated by like losing some form, but the Collector just immediately supplanting him like that. It was
a hard work for him. Thank you, Collector.
Yeah.
Thanks, Collector.
Now Luce doesn't have to have any like moral qualms about it. It's out of her hands. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't need a Avatar finale situation here, but maybe with the Collector or something. But okay, so that being said, Belos gets splatted. The Belos goo drips onto Hunter's back, down his back in some
creeps
form.
along down the back to
Hunter goes through the portal, and then if you weren't watching the extended end credits, these didn't air on TV, so make sure you go check out the online version of it. At the end of the credits, which is the door on Earth in the rain, the goop like drips down and the door closes. So presumably that is Belos that went onto Hunter, and Belos is on Earth in some form. What form that is very unclear because he was in monster form, and this is only part of him in monster form.
I guess it's irreversible for him to be in monster form because of what happened with the Day of Unity and the sigil that Luz put on him. But like,
maybe
in the human realm, how does that add up?
There's no magic there.
That's the biggest issue to me because on Earth magic doesn't seem to work, and if magic talisman blood was what was holding him together anyway, like what is he gonna look like?
Wait, I'm sorry. Magic does work in the human realm, just not glyphs.
Oh, okay. Well, then the table's open. Maybe he'll just be a little miniature Philip or something. Revert from his goop form.
Oh no! What if he tries to take over Hunter?
This is what I'm afraid of.
That's
exactly what I'm afraid of.
Go in his ear and
like
Animorph style. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, well,
can we talk about Belos though? Because he did a lot of stuff in this episode.
Yeah, and any more Belos, and other than like we don't really know what's gonna happen with Goop Belos. Any other specific predictions?
Backstory. We need to get his backstory.
Oh yeah.
Gus
saw everything.
I cannot wait forever. I need to know.
Gus definitely saw everything. He's going to give everyone a breakdown.
Yeah. I really hope Gus is able to, have that much to do because I want him to be doing more in the show.
Yeah.
We have to share that information with everyone.
I think that's why they set it up.
Yeah, because it makes sense that Philip would never talk about it himself. Why would he ever share that with anyone? But
But
Gus,
Hunter barely got to
Well,
see.
yeah.
And I wonder if like that moment with Gus is like how like becomes the core as to how we get back to the Boiling Isles too.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because he saw probably how they got to the Boiling Isles in the first place. The trauma that started it all.
Ugh. Yeah.
This could play out in a lot of ways, from like a possession to a him being fully reformed. I mean, who knows?
I hope they don't fully reform him. I'm tired of him.
What if he possesses V?
Oh no,
Oh,
leave V alone.
Baby, leave V alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But okay, in terms of Belos in this episode, so he gets branded by Luz and turns into the monster. So we don't get. His plan was just to kill everyone, I guess, right? Like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Just want to kill them all so they could.
he was like, I'm just gonna wipe out all of the witches,
Right, so
and
that
leave this
seems-
place in chaos and
Witch
leave.
Hunter General.
And okay, so yeah, in
This
terms
is the
of
cringiest title, Belos. You could have done
Right?
so much better. It's so silly.
For real,
Yeah.
he had centuries to think
Yeah,
of something.
he literally did, Ellie. It's true. He had so long to think about a better name for himself.
yeah, we should note that he from his conversation with Luz wanted to, if was not initially a witch hunter in literal sense, as in like person of Salem witch trials type burn witches at the stake person.
Well, he was a
which
child then, so he wouldn't have been allowed on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't. That's the part of the thing we need the backstory for.
Yeah.
Were his parents witch hunters? Did he get inspiration from his community? But he wants to go back in that role, in a
Yeah.
sense of
Ooh,
literal
that's
getting
an-
rid of witches on
Yeah.
Earth.
That's like an interesting like tie-in though, like the Salem witch trials and stuff like that.
Yeah, and as
I
people
love
point out,
that.
that there were witch trials in Connecticut at the time when he left.
Yeah.
That's intentional by the show. So the other thing though is the portal, right? So he finished the portal and was planning on going back to Earth.
Mhm.
I think this part's a little
Mhm.
unclear, but he just finally wanted to go back? Question mark.
I can't believe that was how simple it was. Like after all
Well-
the thinking we did,
Yeah.
but it does make
Yeah.
sense. The thing I don't get, and I love that Luz like latches onto this to make a deal with him. She's like, "You're just gonna show up like nothing happened, looking like that in that terrible outfit, and like you think it's all gonna be fine? Like it's been like centuries, man. How would you fit in with modern
Well,
day
she even
world?"
like tells him, she's even like, hey, you're gonna need proof. That's where I come in.
Mhm.
Because no one's just gonna believe just you.
yeah.
So do you think his plan was to like go back to Earth and then get like other witch hunters, I guess the military in this case, to come to the Boiling Isles and wipe everybody out?
I don't
'Cause,
think
like,
so. He
I
wanted
don't
to do
think
that
the draining spell
first.
killed everybody. I think it just got rid of their magic.
Well, that was, I think, the thing, though. It's like if they don't have magic,
Yeah.
how do they get to Earth? And I think he just wanted to keep Earth magic free to save them from the evil magic at any
we
cost.
Yeah, so we don't get anything else like giraffes coming
Yeah.
through. But like that also makes sense. Like that's why he wanted all of the children to be like, I'm gonna use the word labeled, but like stamped.
Branded.
Yeah, in the school.
Branded,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't like branded. Like it feels wrong.
I think it's
the
most of
turtle.
what's happening.
It feels
Yeah.
because it is.
Yeah,
But-
to get rid of magic from and I mean I think it might have killed all them, but it seemed like he was gonna peace out before that happened. Here's the only question mark I have. There's one line and it's probably nothing, but I'm a little bit obsessed with this line, because it's like the only kind of potential new information we have. Belos is talking to Luz. Belos says, I have just enough Titan blood for one more trip. Just enough Titan blood for one more trip.
I thought he meant to just
Why-
go home.
So,
not for an
I
extra
think-
trip.
I
You mean
think
like
he
a
just
shroom trip?
I think he means one more
Like,
trip in addition to
two
his
in
initial
that?
trip. Like, I think he, so the baseline understanding would be he made a trip here hundreds of years ago and he has enough Titan blood to get back for one more trip to get back.
Right.
But it's awkward phrasing. Like, what if he had gone back and forth before?
with the military.
Not with the military.
no.
I just mean like no. I just mean this line.
Well-
Because I didn't think of it initially as like one. He just wants to go back. One more trip to me initially implied he'd been back before, which didn't seem like that was the case.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think that was the
I
case.
say it is interesting phrasing now that I'm thinking about it, because why wouldn't he just say like to go back home?
I have just enough time blood to go back. Yeah, why one more trip? So there could be more here. Here's the thing: we have 3 specials. Belos is still alive. There could be more stuff.
Living goop.
Living goop. I mean, I'm going to assume Belos will materialize in a form
Oh
he can talk.
God, is he
like,
Flubber?
I really hope. I can't process that. I hope he can talk and give us his backstory. I was happy to see that, like, when he talked to Luce, he was doing the whole racist thing where he was like, oh, like, see, like, we are peers. You're a fellow human. Use my human name.
They've warped your sense of reality.
I want to help you. Yeah, I was like,
it's consistent.
Yeah, that's consistent.
Yeah, so in terms of what we need to see in season 3, I agree with Michelle that like we definitely need to see the backstory. We only saw it in portrait form.
Mm-hmm.
We need more information on the brother and his backstory with Philip, and probably what he was doing with Hunter, like what he was doing with the Grimwalkers. Because the reason I said why I was kind of disappointed in the beginning with the Bella stuff is we don't get additional lore in this episode, and
no.
This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is like correct or anything, but I like when finales add a twist or additional lore at the end. Basically, this finale just played with the pieces that were in play. And that's fine. I mean, it did it really well. But I think for a lore-heavy show like The Owl House, and season 2 was so great with the lore, so lore-heavy, I think you want to culminate the lore in addition to the plots and the characters. And I felt like the lore climax was just Hollow Minds. Like, and we've not really gotten anything since then. So, I think there's more coming. But that's the only thing I didn't like about the finale was we didn't get anything else. And so Belos' plans ends up just seeming so simplistic to me. Like he just wanted to kill everyone in peace. Like, but they didn't even elaborate. I didn't even get to hear him talk about like why he wanted to do that. I get that he hates witches, but why this plan specifically? Maybe we'll hear him say that in
I
next
think,
season.
yeah, we might hear him say, I think it's still like we're going off of like educated guesses. So I think the fact that his brother found a nice witch boo is what ultimately was the final straw. And after he killed his brother, he was just like, now I'm a witch hunter. This is my plan. That was his plan before he met Lilith and Luce in the olden times. Like the plan was in motion at that point. So him getting punched in the face just added to his motivation. But I think it was his brother. I think it's just like him thinking that the island was responsible for his brother dying and not him. And so that was his ultimate grudge.
I was going to say, or maybe just like his brother, they came to the Boiling Isles and his brother just never wanted to leave.
That's what I think.
And he was like, I can't go back home without you because they'll think that and so they'll think that he did something to his brother, which is why after he killed his brother, he was very intent on having a Grimwalker that looked like his brother so that he could go home and just the way he wanted to. Just
right. Like we need to know why he was making Grimwalkers.
All
we know right now is that it was like sentimental, but that's not a reason. That's like a feeling. So
That's a good point.
Right. So was it just he wanted to go home with his brother? It could be, but the show hasn't said that yet.
But he was also very quick to abandon it once, like he was like, oh, like Hunter's disobedient. And so then it just seemed like he was like, well, I guess that's it. Like he wasn't like, oh, I'm going to put this off for another however many years in order to make a new Grimwalker.
He was strange because the thing he said when he right before he was about to kill Hunter was like, it's such a shame you look the most like him.
Yeah.
So okay, but why? Because you want your brother back, or you need him back to. The thing
he wants a more obedient version of his brother.
It's been so long. So him going back to Earth, no one on Earth is gonna freaking know who he is or that he had a brother or not. So,
but we also learned too that he he didn't quite understand that because he thought he was just going back to essentially the same world that he left.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
so
that-
crazy to me.
That's part of like where Luz is just like, hey, yo, it's not the same place anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that has something to do with it as well. Because, I mean, it's just odd that like he very quickly abandoned like the idea of bringing Hunter with him. Or I'm assuming that's what his plan was.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the case. We don't really know, though. Yeah,
He just said that he wanted to deal with him somehow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we see, in the finale, we see the dead Grimwalker pit.
More
That's
detail,
so
even
sad.
more masks than I counted initially. There's at least 50. Oh my god.
So like, we're definitely going to get more stuff here. It's possible we even get his Day of Unity plans explained more, if not likely, in season 3. So it's a little hard to comment on all this right now, I think. Like
Gus is going to explain it all. I'm confident.
So that's another thing.
yeah,
Gus
I
Gus
want
uses
Hunter.
powers to briefly see the portrait stuff.
I think one of the most important things, or something that I personally am most interested in, is how Belos or Philip found the disc with the collector.
How did they even hear about the collector?
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
saw it in Elsewhere and Elsewhen, him get the disc, right? But what was the impetus for that? How did he learn about the collector? That's very interesting.
Like,
Are
I feel
those-
like
Read
that's
a lot of books in the demon libraries.
I think it
Well,
might just be
yeah.
implied that he just learned a ton about while staying there for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe from those guys who like worship the collector. Are they going to come back?
Oh yeah, and then the Titan
Oh.
Trappers too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, the finger got destroyed. I wonder if they can find another way.
Just take
Yeah,
a
and
boat.
what's gonna happen with
Just
people?
take
So
a
yeah, just take a boat.
the collector like is dismantling the Boiling Isles. What about the other continents / Titans? That'll be
Yeah.
interesting too. I'm definitely kind of hoping that we hear more about Belos's plan next season. As of now, I actually the comparison. I'm feeling a little bit how I felt at the end of Korra Book 3, actually, with the Red
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Lotus. So like
That's exactly how I feel.
right, Book 3. I mean, Korra Book 3 is the pinnacle of television. That being
Yes, I
said.
agree, I agree.
Like we were heading into the finale. I was like, oh my god, I would love if more Red Lotus lore, and we learned really what they
Yes!
were trying to do, and then they never actually gave it to us. That's how I feel right now about Belos. Like I'm really unsatisfied with this version of what we got. But like great shows have done this before, so this might be it. I don't
I'm
like.
also at least confident they're going to go into his backstory for this show.
Oh,
Like,
they need to, like, all those pictures, and then that was even in like the stuff they were showing Gus. Like,
yeah.
they wouldn't go to that
Yeah.
trouble if we weren't gonna get more. And I feel like the shows, it's like it's talked about Grimwalkers openly, so I feel like it's coming. We just need to wait for it. We're
Yeah,
gonna hear about Caleb because Hunter exists and he's gonna be on Earth and he has questions and he's gonna get answers.
So,
And we
so no-
confirmed that Belos said Caleb to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so notable Belos said Caleb when he saw Flapjack, Hunter's palisman. Dana confirmed that on Twitter. It was Caleb, so Caleb is the brother's name. Well, that's not, the show didn't say that, but that's the implication. Belos said
It's
Caleb
implied
upon
because
seeing
when
Flapjack.
Hunter was trying to disguise himself at the school, Flapjack like squeaked
Yeah.
or whatever, and then
which
he came up-
is
oh,
what we
Caleb.
predicted, and now this is basically confirmed. So we'll call him Caleb. In terms of like what will season 3 give us for Belos lore, here's my confidence ranking. Like number 1 most confident, I definitely think we will see more of the Philip Caleb backstory. Like I think they have to give us that.
Agree. I'd
Number
be
2,
disappointed if they don't.
Number 2, I'm not sure. I hope so. I want to know why he was making Grimwalkers. Like that's got it, but I'm not 100% confident. But that's next.
Well, also
Hunter,
because the
that's like what
collector,
Hunter would ask about.
the
Yeah.
collector
Why
also was like, if we need a third player for
We
whatever,
could make a
thing-
Grimwalker. They brought up Grimwalkers again
Yeah.
too. And then number 3, I'm least confident, but I would really love this was again more in explanation from Belos on why he did what he did on the Day of Unity.
Mm.
Man, I'm gonna love it if he's just got that one sliver of twisted sentimentality in him. That would be so good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the Belos stuff for me is like incomplete. Like we'll see. It's and it was great though. Like bringing the collector in, it's like a chaotic way. Like it's not like we didn't neatly wrap up the Belos and then transition to the collector, right? We kind of intersected this, and so now we're at a little bit of we don't know what Belos was doing. We don't know what the collector is going to do. It's very
Yeah.
unknown point to be at right now.
Because I would say, like, there was no way for Belos to explain everything in that episode and have it make like narrative sense. because like time is of the essence. He wants to get through that portal. Dave Unity, everyone's dying. I mean, there's no reason for him to explain anything to anyone. But now that they're trapped on Earth and have libraries and stuff, and like someone has seen into his mind, like I feel like that's the perfect opportunity that makes sense in terms of like the story, you know?
Yeah, no Bond villain-esque explanation of his whole plans when Luz is captured.
Yeah, that would have felt wrong, I feel. That would have been so cringe.
Yeah, I don't think it's the show. I think it's a good point. That's a good point. So maybe this is the natural way of doing things. I have faith in the show. Like this was a great finale, incredible season. So like this is one of the biggest aspects of the specials now. And I wasn't expecting all of our Belos intrigue to still be in play.
I love it.
Fully in play into the special. The specials have everything now, in addition to Collector and Lumity and culminating the whole story. Also, the Belos lore is still in play.
Give us the brother lore.
The brother lore.
Maybe we'll see them turn
what
back
if they're
into
not
flashbacks.
brothers?
What if they're not brothers?
What do you mean, what if they're not brothers?
Say that. Oh my god, April. How can
What
you
if they're
throw
not
that ball
brothers?
back?
Oh my
This is
god.
just
What if
we
it's not brothers?
get your conspiracy theories in before the specials start.
Well,
you know?
what if like?
Oh
that
yeah,
was
didn't you
his
say this
boyfriend
before
or
in the last
something?
podcast? Yeah. Do you had a theory about this? That's true.
Yeah, like what if that's not his brother? What if that's like his boyfriend or something?
Oh my
and
god.
He killed him in a crime of passion because
Yeah.
Caleb wanted to stay and he didn't want to stay, but he wanted to be with
That'd be
Caleb.
a big twist.
I have
Yeah.
a question. The
No.
statue in Connecticut is of two adults, but it's assumed that the brothers or lovers, whatever, went to the Boiling Oz when they were like young, right? So are they
Yeah,
their
I don't think
ancestors?
they were that young. I think they were like teenagers
Okay, but, like,
or old
Two
teens.
adults back in like
Some
that
people-
time was like 15.
I
so
can
Sure,
probably
but the
answer that a
statue, I'm
little.
trying to like think of what it
So
looked
some
like.
people were saying that brothers might have like helped found the town or something, or they have some kind of historical.
Oh.
So like maybe those were made like in memoriam of the lost brothers or something. You know, like maybe the town pitched in to make those after the fact to honor
After
their
the fact,
memory or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That could be.
And that
Yeah.
could also be why they're adults versus like, because I mean, like
Yeah.
adults as we know adults versus like adults back in the time at the age of.
I was
15.
thinking, I mean, if they went to the Boiling Isles when they were young, because according to the pictures, that's what it seemed like. They were, or at least Philip was young. Maybe they went back and forth, like they had a way to go back and forth. It just seems like they were stuck there, though.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that line might imply some back and forth. I don't know. That's my big
If
that's
that
my
ends
big
up being a
conspiracy
thing,
theory
I'm
right
gonna
now.
be so shook, Dylan.
It's a
the
good
back and
conspiracy
forth.
theory. It could happen.
Yeah.
It's like it's the only not tidy thing from the finale. You know,
only
It's like
not
this-
tidy thing.
I'm telling you.
The
you.
one
This is-
word.
if we're gonna latch on to something conspiratorial, it's
I mean,
that
I'm
line.
like reeling from April suggesting they were lovers, and that's why he looked so pissed in that one picture.
Yes.
Like it was deeper than we thought.
So the only thing is that the guy, the human nerd guy, calls them brothers right on Earth,
Yeah,
but
true.
we don't know what he
Does
knows.
say
So
that.
whatever.
Yeah, but
He doesn't
that
know
could also
anything.
just be like that's a tidier like that's a clean story versus
Also,
like,
maybe,
the,
like-
the two lost lovers.
Like maybe on Earth they were just told everyone they were brothers because back in like Salem witch trial days they definitely burned gay
Whoa.
people at the stake too.
Maybe. I mean, that
Yes.
is the ultimate betrayal if your lover marries a witch woman. I mean, that
It's
would
true.
hurt. That's true.
Okay, this is just the new fanfic.
I
we're
love
writing.
this.
I am like a little scared that this
I
will
love
catch
this-
fire.
the fire that
this
I
is completely
started.
insane theory.
Philip, Caleb / fic, except no, it's not incest. Don't worry, this is an AU where they're actually not brothers. That's the tag. Okay.
It's also the title of this podcast. Please.
Yes.
Like, that makes-
Philip and Caleb, not brothers.
Okay, let's go from hypothetical gay to actual gay in the finale. So the Lumity
God.
kiss, which
Yes.
we have. I don't know why we need to
Segue.
make stuff up. Yeah, we have this. But no, it's been over an hour. I'm sorry, but here's the Lumity discussion.
Don't apologize.
Look,
Never
so
apologize for gay.
Can I
all of
just say-
our Belos theories might have not been true. Although I will say Michelle on like 2 podcasts ago was like, I think it's just that he wants to go everyone. So Michelle was right. But eventually we got into our Titan skeleton thing. But look, we're maybe half right there. But we were very right last podcast speculating
Yes.
about Lumi. We said the kiss was
Yes.
probably coming next episode. We said it would be a Katang from Avatar-esque
Day of Black
pre
Sun.
Oh,
Yeah.
pre
wow.
Day of Black
You
Sun
guys
kiss.
really nailed it.
We nailed this.
Nailed it.
So
I'm proud of us. We could high
Me
five
too.
right now.
is that Can we use the
Internet
raising
high
hands
five.
feature for the high five? Is that how that?
Yeah,
Oh,
hold
yeah.
on a second.
If,
Nailed
we
it.
all
Don't
if
have
we all
like
put
a
our
real
hands
time
up, does
if
that
you have
count?
one, everyone.
Yeah.
People don't understand what we're doing. Okay. Uh,
Fine, they don't have to understand. We're so proud of ourselves.
Allie, we finally get the lips kiss, let's say, for Lumity.
God,
Yes!
I've been
Let's
waiting
kiss.
what feels like my whole life for this. Like,
Allie, I saw you had a Korosami-esque reaction.
and this
to
is
the
the thing.
kiss.
Going from that to this after like how many, 6 years? It's about time. I mean, obviously we had Bubbline and stuff, but like the build up to these characters, obviously, like, no offense, I love Korosami. They do not compare to Lumity at all.
Do you think this is like the Korosami that we deserved with the full build-up?
I mean, yes, but also this is just very different because they had a completely different relationship. I mean, sure, it was like enemies to friends to lovers. So sure, it was the Korosami kiss we
I guess
deserved in
initially,
animation.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not with like all the chaos
Honestly,
effects.
Asami and Amity pretty similar. Like very initially kind of enemies, but not actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, Korra's definitely more. She has more animosity towards Asami,
Yeah.
and like Amity
Allie,
does lose.
what was your reaction? How did you think it was handled by the episode?
I mean, I thought it was handled perfectly. I really like it was like not really like Romeo and Juliet, but the balcony, like
There's a
really, they
balcony,
knew what they were
yeah.
doing. I really liked how Ed and M gave them their privacy when they saw Luz on the balcony. Like really good A+ sibling material. I think the build up to it was really good because like Amity was saying, like they hadn't gone on a real date before and they like things were crazy, but they did manage to spend time together, and the build up of like the cheek kissing and like hand holding, spending time together was good. I really like seeing a couple date before they have their first kiss, and like it's just portrayed very healthily. I have not seen this in animation, queer or otherwise, in like a kid's cartoon, and like even in some adult cartoons. It's just, they're handled so well, and I think it's perfect timing. I love a good pre-battle kiss before everything hits the fan. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Pre-battle kiss.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I kind of expected them to. I mean, it was just wishful thinking. I was like, maybe they'll get a second kiss in the next episode, but there was way too much happening there. But I really like that it happened before the series finale and the season finale. It's just, we deserve more of this.
To introduce it from like a queer representation perspective, like historical perspective, this is not like the first same-sex kiss we've seen in like American kids animation. Thankfully, like when we started this podcast, there were 0, and now there've been 10 or something. So this is wonderful.
Oh my god!
Depends what you
It's
count
beautiful.
as
Any
criteria.
lip on any other part of a body part.
Oh, then sure,
Ah.
way over or something. I don't know.
Anything.
But the thing that
Anything.
makes this like really iconic is that the kiss didn't happen at the end of the series.
Right. So here's what I'm going to say. I think there's a few things that make this revolutionary. One of which is, you nailed it, Allie. This is not at the last episode. Almost all of the ones we've seen are like in the last episode or right towards the end of the show. And honestly, if you look at culminations of romances in general, they almost always happen at the end of shows.
Yeah.
Think Starco
That's
too as
true.
well. So like it's really like not just queer couples. But again, but the other thing that makes this, I think, pretty revolutionary, this kiss, is this is them already having been an established relationship that
for
was
a
built up throughout the
while
show.
and hanging out
Yeah.
and not exactly going on official dates, but like sort of doing datey stuff all season.
Spending
and so
quality time together.
Yeah.
Well, so this is unprecedented. The only thing is Ruby and Sapphire and Steven Universe also fit this criteria. So Steven Universe, as always, way ahead of its time. But this is like main characters. Ruby and Sapphire was its own weird thing with the what those characters comprise on. But like Steven Universe was its own incredible thing, and now this is like revolutionary its own way. So potentially setting a new standard for queer representation to come, as we've been discussing with Lumity this entire time. Michelle, how do you think same question, how do you think it was handled by the show?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, the whole like Romeo and Juliet imagery was like so not, like I would never have expected that to happen in a million years. I personally love that Luce was wearing pants when it happened for some reason. Like I love Luce in pants, and I remember, God, I'm not gonna be able to find the source for this, but Dana had brought up like years ago that she got some early pushback from Disney in terms of how like androgynous Luce is. And I love that that's something that she kind of fought for, and that kind of, because Luce, like, I don't think there's like any question that Luce is like relatively female presenting, but she's not like hyper femme. You know, I would say Amity is more femme than she is. And so, like, in my own personal preference thing, like, I just love when she was like wearing pants and smooching her Jeep, and it was all very good.
I also love her ponytail. I just have to say.
Yes, it's so cute. It's so cute. It's like a subtle way to show that like time has really passed, and she got it's grown out, and now it needs to be contained.
Yeah,
but love will not be contained.
Love, yeah. I'm resisting asking about the crikey already, but before that,
crikey.
Before that, April, what did you think of the crikey and the kiss?
Oh my gosh. I loved it. It was so perfect. I couldn't have asked for it to happen. I mean, first off, predicted it. So props to me and Allie on that one. But also just like it was like the perfect moment for them to have the first kiss too. And I love that it was like Amity was the one who initiated it. And then like I love like the sort of like the step back afterwards from both of them. Like Amity's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And like, and then that's not even like what Luz is freaking out about. She's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said crikey.
Which is more cringe, kissing your girlfriend or putting on an Australian accent?
Oh,
both.
Both. But so I just love that. And I love like the cuteness of it all too. Like, oh, sweet potato and all of that. So it was great. I'm in love. It's fine.
We also talk about that animation, though.
Yes.
The special animation, guest animator.
There's special guest
Lovingly
animation
animated.
for the kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was so beautiful. It's great in so many ways. The incredible animation. Them talking about how they haven't gone on a real date yet, which is exactly what I wanted and was perfect for this moment. There's a twirl in there, the artistic angle with the kiss.
Yes.
Luz being a nerd is appropriate, I begrudgingly say. The other thing, though, is like the integration of this into the larger episode I thought was phenomenal, and that really stood out on rewatch. Luz goes to save Amity, and then this seeing Amity instantly ties into the stuff with the parents and supplying for Belos, and that transitions really well into the Day of Unity. So I feel like for so many shows, it's been like a reservation of how do you, like, this isn't about romance. How do you
balance
integrate this? How do you balance this? Owl House has shown that you can balance it incredibly well. And Lumity this season has been more prominent than we expected, or I expected. I'm so happy that they were significant contributors to so many episodes, including one of the finale episodes. And in the finale, they were fighting together, even if it wasn't the main focus.
They were so in sync, and they would take turns kind of protecting each other in battle.
Just having each other's backs. It was so cute.
Yeah. Like, you just see how well they work together.
Yeah, I really love that. So it just, the scene is perfect on its own. The romance arc is one of the best romance in general arcs we've seen in animation. And it's, on top of that, integrated extremely well into everything else the show has been going on. So I'm so happy that we got this scene here, and that it was done so amazingly. I mean, at last podcast outlines a brief wish list of things we still wanted to see from Lumity, and honestly, they've checked in these 2 episodes everything except for just like something in the epilogue, which will happen,
and slice of life date, which is happening now.
They discussed. I said I want them to discuss their future. They did that with the date stuff. You know, I mean, I think now that they're on Earth, they'll probably talk about it again. But they kissed, they fought together. We're free rolling here for Lumity. Like
we put marriage on that wish list though?
They're still too young.
They're a little
unless it's a flash forward.
Not as children, as flash forward.
I mean, like that's a heavy topic to talk about at
Unless there's like a 10 years later epilogue.
Yeah, that's what
but
I'm
I did have the thought, by the way.
Also, why do they have to get married? Just why can't they
That's
be
true.
happy?
They can do what they
Marriage
can do whatever.
is cool sometimes.
Just co-living
Sometimes.
forever.
I did have the thought. Is it possible they could be stuck on Earth for longer than we think, and there's a time skip before the specials start?
100%
That's very possible.
And they're 18 in the specials, and it's like
no,
5,
Dylan, no,
and it's
no,
4 years
Dylan,
later.
No.
What
Can't wait that long. That would be literally the.
Well, what if they just can't get back? And and Edith's like, we've been playing Owl House for 4 years, Luz. Where have you been?
I'm so tired.
It's your turn to be the owl lady.
Yeah. We've taken
would
500 turns here.
Excited. Hooty's gonna have so many new friends. Everyone's gonna be
Oh.
out.
By the way, briefly for Hooty talk, can Hooty take on the Collector? We've joked Hooty could take on anyone.
I don't know. He was
I-
trapped very easily in this finale.
I will say that was the one. Like, you want to talk about complaints? My personal finale was that Hooty got trapped like that. I was like, Hooty, you were not trying. You were going to keep your weapon. How did you not know that and get trapped so easy? You get out of that bubble. You fight. You keep fighting. That was very upsetting for me to see. That was the worst. How could
I do think Hooty's going to be very excited to play the Owl House.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh my god.
Okay,
I think
Hooty
the
is-
time has finally come.
Collector and Hooty might be on very similar wavelengths of just like chaotic mental energy vibes, So
Hooty actually becomes the Collector's best friend.
Hooty swallows the Collector, and that's the solution.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
No
honestly, Hooty is chaotic
Yeah,
neutral too.
You can
Like,
eat him. Yeah.
Yeah.
don't know how
Okay.
to-
The Hooty has invaded our Lumity discussion, but anyway, that was what.
I mean, he set them
He's
up,
the
so
one who
it's
got them
fitting.
together. Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Hooty has an honorary pass into all of the Lumity segments after after his episode. Yeah. We can come back to Hooty if we want to. What was? Oh, okay. Let's go through all the aspects. We talked about them all already, but the kiss, just to give it its full due, we'll recap we talked about it being Luz comes in through the balcony. Romeo and Juliet vibes. Amity says she's not going to let the world end before they can go on a real date. Luz trolls Amity. She says she's going to take her on the most mundane slice of life date ever. So I
what
didn't
does
even mention.
that mean? Is
Cat
that both
cafe.
teams?
Cat cafe.
That's
yeah.
that's not
That's an
mundane.
exciting date. Yeah, that's not
fine.
mundane.
It's in, like,
Okay,
Goldberg,
so, like,
yeah.
dinner
The
and a movie?
dinner and a movie. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
at like Applebee's.
Oh god.
Yeah, Connecticut
Too-
would
too
have
mundane.
lots of Applebee's.
No.
They're definitely going there.
Oh, maybe they'll step it up. They'll be at the Olive Garden.
Oh,
well, that's
my
where you take the people you
God.
really like. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's dressed up for that.
Are the breadsticks
Yeah.
really never ending?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they
Amity
are,
would be
yeah.
any witch would be very excited at like one of these restaurants too. No, the fact that Lou said slice of life date. Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah,
perfect
it made me
for
think of you.
Yeah,
It made me think of you
Oh
too,
my
Dylan,
God.
honestly.
That's how you know that this is one of my favorite scenes ever. Like it's perfect for Luz. I love that the show's willing to go there with references like that.
Yeah. She's an
it's-
anime nerd.
I was gonna say she's a huge nerd. It makes
She's a weeb.
sense.
Luz's outlines what my perfect show would be for the specials. It's just mundane slice of life dates. We don't need to go back to the Boiling Owls. Like, I'm sure they'll be fine. But no, this was not the circumstances we wanted for these. But maybe we'll see an epilogue or something where they're able to finally go on this mundane slice. If they go back really fast, right? Like from Earth in season 3, maybe that's the epilogue. It's like we can finally go on that date or something. I think that's
Well, I wonder though, like if that's the way, if it takes a very long time for them to get back to the Boiling Isles, that's what kind of starts to happen, is that we just start living our lives, and then all of a sudden Hooty comes popping through a portal and is like, "You have to come back."
What if it's Hooty? Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
that's,
god,
that's
that
just
would.
how I'm like now picturing it, is that like they're literally just like living their lives. It's been like 2 years or something, and then Hooty just pops through a portal and he's like, "I've come to take you to the demon world" or something.
We need new players. We ran out of the old
Yeah.
ones. Get in here.
We need some new owl ladies. And then everyone's mad at Hooty because he could have done that like 2 years ago, but he just hasn't done it because he was having such a good time playing the Owl House.
Just like with King's Letter, man. He could totally. That is so in line with how his brain works. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, we have the good Hooty possibilities. Yeah. So we'll see.
Cootie's
I'm
the
resisting
key.
commenting more on that. Okay, back to the day this kiss recap. We met Amity kisses Luz, grabs her face, Luz closes her eyes, puts her hands on top of Amity's hands. I was definitely reminded of the Katarian kiss from
Very
the
I'm telling
Day It
you.
Works on.
Uh-huh.
The fact that Mae Whitman is in
and she's in both,
She's
May
seen
Whitman.
it all at this point.
Luz says, "Oh crikey! I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just said that. Oh crikey! How did I even think that? Come on, Luz, be cool next time." Yeah, Luz, come on, be cool next time. I was
like,
yeah,
so
next
upset.
time
She said
Luz.
crikey. I mean, not actually upset, but I
Next
was
time, you just have to say, "Wow, Sugoi," and that's more cool.
Dude, Goy
oh,
would have
that'd be
Yes!
worse. No.
Crikey though.
Oh.
I
Would've
would've
fit
If
more.
I said that, I would have died.
I was so exasperated at Luz for saying crikey, but it's so in character. That's what
It
pisses
is.
me off. It's like, why is she such a nerd? Why is this perfect for her? Can't you just be, like, remotely cooler, Luz?
Yes. That's
She's so cool, first off.
she's great at fighting. She's just really new to the relationship stuff. That's all. Like she'll kick Philip's butt in a battle, clearly, but the smooching, oh, that's a whole different ball game.
Do you guys think
Um,
Philip is a good kiss?
I don't
That's where you're at, Sam?
practice, unfortunately. Okay, this is a cursed thought, and I don't want to pivot, but when he like closed up his face, I was kind of like,
yeah.
oh yeah, he's not bad at the ponytail. It kind of works on him still. I know he's
Like,
like
grandpa vibe going
His
for
final
him.
form was his best look.
no,
I think that
like
was
a
his
weird
best.
praying mantis.
when he's the
Yeah.
big tall boy with the eyes coming
Single
out
glob
of him.
of goop. That's
Yeah.
his best.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking before that. Oh no.
No,
Yeah,
his
the
final
mind
human
game.
form. Yeah, he finally found his drip at the end after Luz burned him. Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I do love that the only scar that was left on his face was that nose thing from where Lilith freaking punched him in the face. Like, he can't cover that up cosmetically. Everything else he can, but not that.
Nope.
Luz about Belos' fashion sense. Yikes, my dude.
That
she
was
says.
so, like, the fact that he actually took that seriously and looked
Serious.
down at his outfit
was
was
genuinely
killed
offended.
me. I died. It was so freaking funny.
But that also like makes sense that he would be concerned about what another human thinks
Yeah,
of him. Like
exactly.
That actually does make
Yeah,
sense.
he's
Yeah.
like, oh,
yeah.
she's my equal. Shit,
Conscious
I
of
gotta
it.
take this
Wow.
seriously.
he's like, oh man, another human thinks I look bad. Ugh.
To wrap up Lumity, any last we've already speculated. What's our actual prediction for what we will get from them on Earth? Talking to Camilla, will they go on a date? Will there be the
both.
emotional
Both.
capacity for any of that, considering they're so
I
I
upset?
think so.
Well, I think they're going to have a heart-to-heart, and they already kind of did this earlier in the season, but about, like, what are we going to do about the whole we live in different worlds situation?
Yes.
How are we going to
Yes.
see each other later, and will we have to say goodbye to each other permanently? That conversation needs to happen again, for sure.
Right, which they had in Follies at the Coven Day Parade very briefly in terms of they don't know the future. Now the future is upon them.
The future's upon them. It's time to talk again, guys.
Yeah.
Get it
Yeah.
off, but here it comes.
Yeah, in terms of what the show has set up, I definitely think that's like number one talk that they will have at some point this season. Probably like a talk with Camilla about them dating. I think is-
yeah. Well,
I think that's set up
my
enough by the
perspective,
show.
Camilla's like, I feel like Camilla will be upset, but only because she's just like, you're literally dating someone from another world. Like,
Mhm.
why couldn't you have started dating a nice girl in this world?
I really hope Camilla's more understanding.
I think she'll
than
definitely be
that.
understanding because
Yeah.
V, she let this creature into
Oh,
her home.
That's
100%.
true.
Because like Camilla's whole thing was always just like she wanted her daughter to fit in and be more social, and she's clearly done that. Look at all these friends she brought back. Even
Yeah.
the chief, she brought her girls.
That's the best
back with-
part.
Yeah,
So I think
she didn't
proof
bring back
that
just
her
like
life is
one
better.
person.
Yeah.
She's like, I brought a gang of other people with me.
There's
I
also a lot
brought
to
some
worry about there.
orphans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Who will get along best with Camilla? Probably Willow.
I was thinking Gus,
Oh.
maybe.
Oh, Gus
I-
would.
Well,
yeah.
Gus will be
I feel like-
fascinated by everything.
Gus or
Yes,
I feel
well,
like
ask
Hunter's
her
gonna
all
get
the
along with
questions,
her.
like, oh, this is a
He'll be
job.
annoying.
The most
We're gonna use
respectful.
this.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Any last Lumity thoughts?
Perfect.
I think we've said this a bunch of times since season one, but like I love that they're just, because this is each of their first relationships, every time anything big happens, like the first cheek smooch or the hand hold when the confession happens, or even the first kiss, like it's such a big deal, and they're both so shy and awkward about it. And I love that that's a component of their relationship. It's just like it's exciting and new, but also it's like really, really awkward because they don't have a precedent for how to do this kind of thing yet, and they're figuring it out together.
It's also just real.
Yeah,
like, that's the thing. Like they're not. It's not like they're like portraying this relationship like oh, this is our first relationship and we know everything to do. It's like, oh, this is their first relationship and they're embarrassed because they kissed the other person, even though they're in a relationship with them, or they're like, oh, I literally said the wrong thing. So I think that just that realness that we continue to see from them is what makes it even more special.
Yeah, it's like it's awkward as heck, but like that's why it's like nice too.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Crikey that does ring true.
Yeah, it's her first partner ever. So I'm not surprised she said awkward.
Not surprised she was awkward, but pulling out Crikey with no setup, you know.
I mean, it takes a little digesting to get used to that.
If you guys have seen The Good Place, it's like Eleanor going hot diggity dog.
Yeah, it is very much that energy.
That was Eleanor vibes,
yeah. That was
because that was her first like real emotional relationship too.
Yeah.
Honestly, now that Allie just brought up like Luz could have said something in Japanese, I'm just relieved she didn't. So maybe I'll accept Crikey.
What if she said like oishi?
Yeah. God, that's worse. I'll take Crikey over anything. Like
okay, there you go. Could have been worse, Dylan.
Thank you, Allie. I feel better about it.
Glad you could provide that perspective.
This is a vital perspective. Okay, other things from the last two episodes we've not touched on. So we talked about King a little bit, but I do think King had a great arc in the last two episodes. Basically, he wants to help is kind of the through line here, and he finds the key. He finds a way to be the key defining moment. I think that ties into his kind of like understanding himself and what he's capable of and what he can do with to help his family and stuff. I mean, it was like King's Tide the episode, but he was like really pivotal in a really great way. Any other things about King in these two episodes?
I used to really not like King. I didn't like him in the first half of season 1, especially just because like obviously like there's so much more context now, but initially when he was introduced, it's like here's this small obnoxious furry rat boy who is obsessed with like being in charge of people and has this weird macho energy that is very, very distasteful to me personally. I was just thinking. I'm like, what are we doing with him? Why is he so annoying? Why does he care so much? I'm like, does he have like that small dog complex where like he's little, he wants to be a king to compensate like a Napoleonic complex? And why is that a decision the show made? Because I hate this. But I mean, then he starts to like really care about Luz, and he has a whole thing about like, well, like, what am I going to do when you leave? And like, he tries to be a good friend. And like, so that helped a lot in season 1. And by season 2, him wanting to know more about who he is and where he came from, like that, I think was a great move because that makes him a lot more empathizable. And then like that masterful idea to just like write his weird king stuff into his like lineage. Like, oh no, they're all like Titans have like this predisposed like desire to act like that. Like it's a canon reason. It's not just because that made so much sense, and I love that. It's so funny, but that stuff helped a lot, and I think he's grown on me a ton since season 1, and now like I think he's like the sweetest, most wonderful child. And I mean, clearly he, with all that power, he could have used that in a bad way. So I do think it's like, meeting Ida and Hootie and Luz like really helped him like figure out his empathy early in life. So now he can use his powers for good, which is like best case scenario. And he's there. So that feels, it does feel like a very satisfying arc so far throughout the show.
Yeah. You always have to say Hootie differently than all the characters. That's good.
Everyone
I was
Hootie,
I was
okay?
distracted by that.
Ida, King, and Hootie.
Hootie and Moose and yeah. No, it's another one of those like very silly like setup things from the show. Like King is just a silly character that they decided to flesh out, and they even leaned into the silly way he was acting and explained that in the plot. That's kind of the show. One of the show's big MOs is really just trying to explain everything about the quite frankly stupid premise of this show. Like it's really trying to explain every single thing, and I think that's so admirable. Like a lot of shows would just try to change it and ignore it.
But it's just doing it so well.
Yeah.
Like, and then like just, and it plays into like King's arc too, because like, oh, that's how they are when they're in their adolescence. But then like he, you know, that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to be big and powerful. And now that he knows that he's going to be big and powerful, it's like he's kind of you can feel him questioning. Yeah, like you can feel him questioning like his values and things like that. Like, I don't want to be scary. Well, no, of course you don't, baby. Like, no one wants to be scary.
Yeah,
unless you're a crazy person.
Yeah, unless you're the collector.
Unless you're Philip,
Yeah.
I mean, then you do want to be very scary.
Yeah, King, and he's definitely one of the most interesting characters heading into next season, as he's a Titan, and it's like, will he grow? What powers will he have? I mean, he mentions being able to create sentient life, and
he's a Titan, but also, I guess like the collector in him, and then of course like Ida and Luz are the only ones who know that he is an actual Titan.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm wondering how that's gonna like play into what's happening with the Boiling Isles as we go forward as well, because they've been living on a Titan and they literally have been living with a Titan. So
yeah, very, very interesting. Heading in the next season. Any other King thoughts? Okay, next things on our list as we're running through. So I hadn't even mentioned this yet somehow. So we set up that their plan is going to be they're going to swap Eden for Rain. However, then Kikimora reveals that Belos has eyes everywhere. And then in the last episode, all we get from like, so it's a question like, who was there a traitor?
Rat?
How did Belos know?
Yeah.
The only thing we see is from a line from Terra. When Ida starts to corrupt the spell, Terra stops. It says, "Looks like my suspicions were correct."
Yeah.
How does she?
So what does that mean?
I wonder if it had to do something with Rain, because Rain was very much in a way under her spell, and if she had noticed, I guess, an insubordinance from Rain, that probably would have tipped her off.
Yeah, maybe she knew that she wasn't controlling Rain anymore, but something like that.
Yeah, well, because, and also Rain was a part of the initial, like, rebellion, and so for her to kind of, like, notice if Rain is acting as they were before would be a huge tip-off for her, I think.
Yeah, it's a little, it just feels in contrast of Terra noticing having suspicions from the way Kiki presented it. Belos knew, right? Like suspicions versus Belos knew. Maybe Kiki was overselling it, but the episode I don't believe really explains this. Michelle or Ali, do you have any better explanation?
At first I thought it would have been Steve who had eyes everywhere and he would have been like a traitor. So I don't understand how Terra would have seen everything, even through Rain, because like I don't know, unless she put a tracker on them or something, like a GoPro. I have no idea.
If maybe Terra was suspicious that maybe Rain wasn't drinking the serum or had I think she was suspicious that Rain wasn't as under her control as she thought they were. And based on that, maybe started putting some pieces together. Maybe she was like snooping around and hearing Darius and Eberwolf like talk. I don't know.
Seem like she knew that Darius was into
true.
It.
Yeah,
she didn't know Darius.
Yeah, Rain seems to be the only one she was suspicious of.
I guess the Terra suspicions are probably separate from what Kiki was referring to in terms of Belos.
I wonder if maybe also Terra's just like overselling her having suspicion.
She could have just been like, "Oh, I knew it all along."
Vibe. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Right. So it's at the very least, it doesn't like add up in terms of Kiki eluding Belos knew where like Ida was, right? That was information. Tara suspecting that Rain might have turned. It's not exactly the same thing. So I guess what we should say, the most definitive thing is we still don't know how Belos knew.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a mystery.
Yeah.
And
Which,
I mean,
I don't think it's the biggest deal. Like, in terms of satisfyingness, I think Belos thwarting this rebellion that came together at the last minute, I'm fine with that. However he did it, honestly. But it is something we'll probably hear about next season, I guess.
maybe like an explanation as to how they knew that a rebellion was taking place. They were like, "Oh, it's really weird that Darius and Rain are hanging out." Like,
Yeah, they could probably piece it together, but it seems like someone was a traitor or someone didn't know they were a traitor. I was like, is Rain a sleeper cell? Something like that.
But
we didn't get that.
it's also interesting that like Tara and it seemed like a lot of the other heads were surprised to find out that like, oh, this is like a draining spell. Like this isn't like we're just getting rid of like wild magic kind of thing.
Yeah, they were tricked. Yeah, so that they had that moment where Tara was like, "Oh, this isn't just paradise, is it?" And so
especially when she sort of is like pleading to Rain about it, like, she's like, "We're going to paradise, right?"
Yeah.
No.
a lot of stuff.
Face being like, "You dumb lady," but not
right.
There's not going
Why
to
do you
be
think
any
we were
paradise.
rebelling?
Yeah. A lot of the draining spell stuff was like pretty quick. Like it seemed a little bit of the fast forward, but if we're gonna fast forward through anything, like I feel like that was the thing.
I'm okay with like fast forwarding through a lot.
Like we
of
knew
that
it was happening. It was a draining
stuff.
spell. They were chatting. We got it played out beforehand, So I think that type of thing. We kind of knew exactly what was going on, except for like how it worked or the end result or something. Or I mean the end result and like why Belos was doing it, but we talked about that. Other things. I mentioned the Amity's Mittens nickname is revealed by.
I was so happy.
Yes, one of our favorites.
Also, I love that she figured it out too. She's like, "Is that why you call me Mittens?"
It's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Alador, a big role in we'll get to him, but the great payoff there, as if Amity needed more help in being one of the best characters. Like we also have this moment, amazing. And the like I said, that whole second last episode, so great for her. We'll come back to that. Day of Unity. So I love the Ida goodbyes before Day of Unity starts. She's
gosh, that was
with
so
Rain
charged.
and then with Lilith.
We talk about Lilith's sister blocking Ida out of a Rain kiss because, oh my god, girl, just let her have this. They're all gonna die.
We didn't get the Rada kiss, yeah.
Smooch.
I really thought the Rain and Ida goodbye moment was so
It was
wonderful.
so strong.
It was gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
The Lilith one was also
sweet.
great.
And then she kissed Hootie on the head.
She smooched Hootie. Yeah, we
Hootie
need
got
to
the
talk
kiss.
about that. Hootie got the kiss because he was long due for one after everything he's done
He
for that
needed
family.
some love.
He needed that kiss to keep going with his life.
It's like
Honestly
Michelle gets
relatable.
possessed by something when talking about Hootie.
I know.
He's possessed by Hootie himself. Like,
Possessed by Hootie, yeah.
Nice.
Not like the Collector. Right? Hootie also has these abilities.
Hootie collects
Okay.
things by ingesting them.
Hootie really is a
That's how he
collector, honestly.
The inside.
Collected that letter, like really.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We had a little Kiki Mora arc here, as we already saw Kiki Mora for the season as it like follies the Coven Day Parade, and before that, so she was demoted, as we saw in the second last episode, and at the end she's dismissed by Belos pretty savagely, if we can find that line.
He really said some.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he was like,
burn-worthy
"Have you as my
things.
right hand? I'd rather cut off my arm. Why don't you go find a hole to die in?" Or
That
something.
was
Yes.
so intense. I was like, Philip, you're not out yet. Like, maybe don't do this
Like-
right now. You haven't left.
It's too early for laying down all of this burn. Like,
Like it was very mean, and Kiki didn't. I mean, Kiki's bad, but she didn't deserve it. But I was like on Team Belos.
She
like,
did
it
not
was,
deserve
it was
that.
a great. It was a
Yeah.
great
It
insult.
It was
I
a
loved
great
it.
burn. Like, I know he was capable of being that good at that, but wow.
That was Philip at his most likable, is when he's savage.
When
I
he's
feel
savage.
like he just needs to be like more like sassy savage. Like then he'd have a lot of
Sassy
fans.
fellas, are we ready for that emotional scene?
No.
That'd be amazing.
But then Kiki, like, she's dejected, and she basically, I mean, Bella's already betrayed her, but she betrays him back by showing King the Collector. So
Mhm.
I love
I
when
thought-
she says that that she noticed that Belos was always afraid of the Collector. That was my first clue that the Collector was like serious bad news bears. If he's been afraid of him all this time, like that really says something.
Yeah, I thought that was great, and it's a great arc with Kiki and Belos like reaping what he sows with treating her like that, and also like satisfying Kiki knowing that and not having been Belos's around Belos the whole time. So I thought that was all wonderfully handled. We haven't mentioned Luz's Palisman. We are speculating what will it be. It's an egg.
Yeah, the egg. So it's still a mystery. It's a Kinder egg. What's inside? You gotta find out later.
I think that was so appropriate, though.
Yeah, the reasoning behind it too, that she got to choose what she was, and that she wants her Palisman to do the same.
That's
it's
amazing.
perfect.
And then Ida telling her to play music. It can hear her.
What do you think she'd play?
A baby.
What kind of music would she play? Please sing.
Anime. Intro music.
Oh, God.
But also K-pop, honestly.
Yeah, also
yeah.
Does Luz have the egg on Earth?
It probably.
We don't know.
I assumed it was in her backpack.
We don't know. Yeah.
Well,
Wait, did she have her backpack on her by the end?
It could
I
be
don't
in her
remember.
I don't think so.
In her jacket, her bomber.
Could be in the jacket, unless it's in her pocket. But like I said, I don't know how Palismans would work on Earth.
Or what if like King comes across it or something?
What
saves
if it's
it
King's
for her.
baby now?
What if he eats it by accident?
Pootie eats it.
Keep Pootie away from the egg.
He's the one with the oral fixation. He's the one who
boy.
eating it.
Oh boy.
That is the name for it. That's like when children go through
I know.
age.
Yeah. I didn't know we would Freudian analyze
propulsion when I said
so. I saw a theory that people were like, "Oh, what if it's like a combination of a bunch of different animals? Like it's a bat and a cat."
A bat cat would be
we
cool.
do an Avatar here?
Yeah.
I would love that.
I'm kind of. I don't know if I had talked about this before, but I think it might be a dragon because it'll fly like a bird. But it'll also not be a bird in the sense that, like, she's not a witch.
But it doesn't have to fly to be it doesn't have to be a bird to fly because Amity's is a cat and Gus's is like a chameleon.
Well, but because we were talking about how it might be some type of like winged creature because
it'd be like a clawthorn.
Like a clawthorn one.
Yeah.
So
a dragon would be bam.
Yeah, I mean she's a nerd, so dragon kind of.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's also a nerd, so dragon would track.
Yeah, so the debate continues. What will
does it have to be something that hatches from an egg? Because dogs don't hatch from eggs.
Right.
Yeah, but would you
describe
her?
It's a mammal.
I also googled, do bats hatch from eggs? And they don't,
No. Well, I don't think it has to hatch. I think that's just like the choice she's giving it.
Yeah.
So
that strengthens the theory for dragon because they do hatch from eggs.
They do hatch from eggs. Yeah, no, people are talking about like what? Yeah, the fans are talking about like it has to be something that hatches. I don't think so.
I don't think it has
it's magic.
It's gonna be a giraffe.
I saw someone on Twitter. They were like, "It's trans. That's her Palisman because they're an egg waiting to crack."
It's an egg.
Oh my god.
Her Palisman is just trans.
Metaphor for a non-binary Luz, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but more from the second to last episode. Adalia. Oh yeah, so we mentioned the moment of Adalia saying she'll find Amity a new girlfriend.
So she's not a homophobe, at least.
Amazing moment.
Yeah, this was crazy. It's like, okay, homophobe. Okay, no, racist. No. Oh, she's classist. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Money issue. All right.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, basically, further confirming what we've been confirming all along, where it doesn't seem to be any form of homophobia on the Boiling Isles.
Nope.
Yeah. Definitely not.
But it's just such a funny, perfect moment with
it's
Adalia
so in character for Adalia.
And also Amity saying, "Don't you talk to my girlfriend like that."
Yeah, standing up for her woman.
Yeah.
But everything inside the bubble, by the way, in that episode, I love so much.
Me too.
Yes.
So
especially with losing.
Did I do that?
Amity breaks the bubble. Yeah,
Did I
believe
do
in myself?
that?
No, it's the power of science. Such a good moment.
I wish she sounded like that, Allie. That would have been perfect. It wouldn't have ruined the mood at all. It would have just added to the moment.
Did I do that?
I mean, Luz would. Like, you could say anything stupid, and it's like, yeah, Luz would. So
Luz would Amity. That's
just another Amity.
Not Amity. No, not Amity.
The fact that I didn't clock Luz talking to Gus, asking her to change her form as an illusion to Hunter. That was insane. And that was another. She just loves doing those boss moves, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the also in the bubble, like Luz swaps with Hunter, and then it heads off towards the Day of Unity at the end after being captured by Kiki. That was a fun thing too with the swap, and
It was
you
really
can track
fun.
it rewatching the episode. And the only other thing we haven't talked about in detail is Odalia and Alador. So it turns out
Divorce.
That's their
She's
ship
like,
name.
She basically divorced him. She's like, our business relationship is
Or yeah,
over.
well, he and he
God.
quits. So it's like it's a great
Yeah,
metaphor for their
She's like,
relationship
you
being
won't
all
get
business.
severance. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, what the hell?
So-
That's it.
That's so
really?
brutal. You
That's
don't do
illegal,
that.
It is illegal.
Odalia.
Yes.
The Boiling Isle Supreme Court will hear about
We'll
this.
be talking
you know,
to her.
like,
That's right.
I
yeah,
can't wait for the 6-week-long trial.
we get a scene of Belos like judging the.
Oh my god.
It's actually the
They're-
collector. He's
He's like, I don't have the
God.
energy for this. Why is this happening? Why-
But
how did this end
Odalia,
up in court?
Odalia knew about the draining spell and just didn't care. So that was a
That was
great
like
reveal.
so like horrifying on a level.
Really horrifying.
Yeah.
And Alador didn't. So basically, the whole episode, because like I think this is only the second episode we've seen Odalia.
But
True,
why would Belos tell her about the draining spell?
Well,
Well,
so it
'cause
seems
he
like Belos
knows
told
that-
his inner circle that it's like, this is
Yeah.
paradise and you'll be my chosen people.
Right,
kinda
and so that was like
classic.
enough for her. She's like, oh well, as long as we benefit, I don't care
Yeah.
what happens.
Even
That's
though
true.
we'll kill
She's
everyone
like-
except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, Princess, you're gonna be a real princess.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
No.
another great line.
Also,
is,
you have another
yeah.
daughter.
Yeah, and a son that like you put
Yes.
in prison or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She put
and-
them in timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sure did.
Everyone gets timeout.
Yeah, we also like in this episode really learn and lean into Alador being like the good one to Amity. He was more haplessly in this business relationship, and Alador is great here, and then comes with them, and then stays back to fight against his own
Which,
abomatons.
like,
in-
honestly, good. He made them, so I'm glad he's dealing with them. He's
Yeah,
got to
he's taking
clean up his own
responsibility for his
messes.
actions.
that's a
Yeah.
as a redemption move. That's a good one. Taking care
I
of your
did
own
love that
responsibility.
he was excited about the jetpack working.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's
like, oh,
funny,
it does
yeah.
work.
But-
Oh,
and also, how do they
yeah.
know about jetpacks?
I love that he was like to lose. I mean, quote
have
unquote,
science.
lose. You're welcome in our home anytime.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah.
dad.
Even though it wasn't actually lose, that's a great moment, Lumity moment too.
Yeah.
I don't care that you're a criminal. You're my daughter's lady.
And then he's confused when
Oh, wait,
he
you're a
turns into
man?
Hunter.
Yeah,
Oh,
wait,
God.
you're Hunter. Everyone on Twitter was laughing about how like Amity backs up
She was
so
like,
far.
"Oh, I touched a
as
boy."
soon as she sees that it's Hunter. It's so funny.
It's
Yeah,
so funny.
it's great too. In terms of people who could be dead, I think Alador.
Oh,
I don't think we're
Aw,
killing anyone, but he did stay back to
jeez.
like protect the line against
Yeah.
robots. So
But he also
I don't
built the robots, so maybe he's the best person to dismantle.
He would be the
Yeah.
best.
But he
yeah.
was fighting them while his magic was being drained.
And then he's
True
getting
that, true
drained
that.
and being
That's-
beat up by
That's double
robots.
jobs. That's true. It's hard to do.
Double
everything.
whammies.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's.
I
I think he'll be fine. I don't think we need to make Amity sad like that. In addition to
No.
Odalia.
no, she already doesn't have a mom, so like she could keep a
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Okay, what else from the episode?
Hunter. He's just a
Hunter.
good boy and he needs to stop being
Yeah.
traumatized. But I also love, obviously, his interactions with Willow because Hunt Low for life. But I love that he kept protecting Gus like a big brother.
Yeah,
really-
that was really good.
He's
Yeah,
just really good.
very
I like
good
that he's
Hunter
taken
Gus.
on the role of like a protector as the older person in this group.
Hey, he is the oldest, isn't he? Yeah.
How old is he?
16?
Yeah.
And the rest are like, so
Everyone
really
except
the-
Gus.
he-
the
he is the
girls
Zuko.
are all
Gus
Yeah.
is 12.
14, and then he's 12. Yeah. I can't believe
Yeah.
he's so young.
He's a little baby boy.
He's a baby boy.
Yeah, we didn't need to droop Belos on Tim. That's pretty savage.
No,
Uh,
that's
Yes, we did. We need more Bellows. We need to talk
well, we
about
need
the
more. We
brother.
do need
We need
Belos.
to talk about Caleb.
but not
yeah.
taking control of Hunter.
Well,
None
no,
of
I don't
that.
think he's gonna get in his ear. I don't know what he's gonna do. Honestly, he's
I think
only
Bellows is
he's only
just
like
gonna be able
3
to-
inches tall. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Maybe.
honestly.
Just a little goop thing.
Yeah, that's generous. You're right. Maybe he's 2.5.
He's just Flubber, but Flubber causes a lot of damage. If you ever seen the movie.
Oh, I loved when they were doing the whole like, we're playing the Owl House. It's a great
That
game.
was
Oh,
so
that's
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Hunter
Hunter
can't even
couldn't
manage anything. He's just like,
I love that was
fun.
also kind of a callback to when they were disguised as like coven people or the Emperor's coven people. Like, we're all about invaluable assets. Can't get enough of them. I'm an asset gal.
asset
so-
gal.
Yeah, that was
myself.
basically the
Like,
same sequence.
It was the
yeah.
same sequence. I love that
They
dynamic.
just like
between
pick
them.
up on the they get the vibe. They're
But also,
like,
Amity, the memories last a lifetime.
time.
So good.
She sold it for me. I want to
I
play,
play
the
it every
Owl House.
hour.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
too
Gus
much,
said
guys.
that every
Too much.
hour.
No, okay, they shouldn't have said that though, because now the
The
You're
collection's
game's
gonna
gonna
play it all
end.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you guys do this, right?
No,
Yeah.
they should have set it up as like Monopoly. You know, it's gonna take us like 12 years to finish this.
to do
And it's
one
gonna
game.
make us
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
kill each other by the end.
I mean,
That's how you
that
know
is
you're
the
doing
Owl
it
House.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say also inside back to the previous episode, also inside the bubble. Did we mention the girlfriend line? Amity, amazing animation with Amity's hair rising in
Yeah.
anger, very Ghibli-esque.
And
So
Lucy's
obviously, I
eyes
loved
sparkling in admiration.
that. It was
Mhm.
that was such amazing animation, that whole sequence and boarding. Yeah, and it's like punching the bubble. Yeah, we mentioned the "You'll thank me when you're a literal princess" line. That's great from Adalia. Adalia's very funny, you know. It's like
She is
evil,
pretty
but,
funny.
She is.
She's evil, but she's got some humor. Maybe that's
Uh,
what got her married, honestly. Like, that,
Look,
I
I,
mean, I
don't
think-
have much to offer this relationship,
but I can't be funny.
but I can be
sometimes.
funny.
Yeah.
I feel like fans think she's hot, you know. I think.
Oh, she.
Oh, she's-
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
not.
I'm not gonna say that word,
unattractive.
but you know, y'all know.
I'm going through other things from the last episode I've written. I mean, we mentioned Gus's illusion powers, which a lot of
Yeah.
fans were predicting.
Also, the
Child
whole
from the-
animation sequence at the end, like the last 2 minutes, was insane.
Yeah.
Like, just so smooth.
Yeah. I think we're basically good. Michelle, anything else you're thinking of from the episodes?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably. I can't.
Willow being the best girl.
Oh my God, Willow picking up Hunter when he fell. That was so romantic, and he blushed.
Yeah, what's the-
That was so good. I can't believe they keep finding time for Huntlow. Like
I know.
every episode, it's like 5 milliseconds.
He's so into
Oh.
her too.
Willow's
so
like
into
about to like in
He's
the
about
last
to
second
fall
last
to
episode,
his
but no, it's
death.
Hunter, so now she can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe he's gonna tell her about being a Grimwalker in season 3.
Well,
Oh,
they
wouldn't that be
talked
a-
about
Well,
that.
Well, Gus also has to know because he
Yeah.
saw Belos's memories.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
hmm.
Willow, I think he would want to tell Willow himself, you know, because you.
We have time for a tender scene of Hunter
Yeah.
bearing his heart
You're
to Willow,
gonna-
right?
Yeah.
And Gus
Captain.
just happens
And I
to
guess
be
Gus.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, someone pointed out that the last episode was the first time he called Willow by her name and not Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah, more-
sad.
More informal. That means like closer intimacy. You know?
I'd rather
Listen,
you call
they're
me
both-
Captain.
Very good at being supportive.
Yeah.
They're a good power couple.
Yeah. Okay, we got the hunt low, and I assume Michelle's at 10 out of 10 hunt low at this
Oh,
point.
100%. Like, I went from 0 to 100 because, like, why would we assume they would ever find reason to interact or be a thing? But as soon as they interact, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this has been presented to us, this new cake, this funfetti of options, and how can we not partake in it now? that
Thank
we
you for
hear?
appreciating Funfetti, first of all.
Really good. It's
It's
classic.
really underrated.
Yeah, they're
true.
my funfetti. Man. I could eat. Oh God! You know what I
Oh,
mean?
God.
Like, I could watch Hollow all day. It would never stop being good. They're just like freaking Willow is like so overpowered. She's so powerful, but she's like also a sturdy nerd gal. And Hunter's like the cute sad boy who's a little emo. And it's like you never think they're gonna get together, but when they do, it's like, oh my God, what a pairing! This is amazing.
It's true.
Yeah, that's the whole appeal. It's so nice.
Every time they're on screen together, Hunter blushes. Yes. Almost every time.
And like Willow's low key the alpha, and that's also what's so like good about this.
I don't think it's low key.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
no, it's very
I see
obvious.
the alpha, and that's like also what's so good. Oh
Perfect.
my God. If they
Just
kiss,
him.
like she's initiating 100%.
He's
I'd
just
love
a
to see
shy
that.
boy. He can't help it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
he's
no
a
way.
soft
You're
boy.
right. He never could do that by himself.
He's very soft.
Yeah.
April, anything else you're thinking of from the episodes?
No.
Okay.
That's
Okay, we're over 2 hours. Michelle, what are your final thoughts here?
I want to see Hootie do something cool. And I want Belos to talk about Caleb. For God's sakes, it's been so
Yeah.
long. We need to know about Caleb, please.
Yeah.
Honor Caleb, please.
Honor Caleb. Talk about how you murdered him. I want to know all the details.
Confess.
Confess.
Yes.
Allie, final thoughts.
Confess. It's in my head now. No, it's perfect. I love this show. Thank you, crew. You guys are the best. Just it. Crikey.
That's all we
Crikey.
got.
Crikey,
There you go,
Crikey's a good
Crikey.
final thought, yeah. April, your final thoughts.
You already asked me.
No, I asked you if you had anything else from the episode. Now it's time for the final thoughts.
No.
No,
Dylan,
that's an
what are
acceptable
yours?
answer.
No, that
What are
was
your
me.
Yeah,
final
what are
thoughts?
your final
Yeah,
thoughts, Dylan?
Tell us.
I think we talked about. I'll say counter to Allie. I would prefer if the specials aired this year.
Really?
I
Well,
think-
6 months.
Well, we
I-
were talking about. I would prefer if one aired this year and
Yeah,
wait like they did
spaced
with
out.
Adventure Time. Just to
yeah.
plans.
I would like
Yeah,
that.
I'm thinking like September, October, November, 1 month apart. That would be good.
No.
You could just space them out more. But my thing is like, I know it's end sooner, but I would rather like be really into a show when the last part airs than it be too
Waiting
long
forever?
and I
Yeah.
divest a little bit from it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
very fair.
That's-
But I
and
want
I
them
feel
to.
like you have to like rewatch all of the episodes.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, do I have to
Yeah.
rewatch?
It's just
yeah,
because
to
there's
know.
only 3. Like I'd be fine with it airing this year, but I want them to space it apart. Really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think they should. Really hope, especially for podcasting, hope they don't air
At
like 1
least
week,
a
1
month
week.
apart.
Gosh.
Yeah,
At
a
least.
week would be so terrible.
Too
Oh.
much.
Please, no, don't do
D-
that.
I
Disney
would
did air
die.
the Gravity Falls Weird Mageddon at least a month apart from each other. The 3
So
parts
okay,
there,
maybe,
so.
That would work.
Maybe they'll
There's
do
a
the
chance.
thing, yeah, I agree with Dylan actually thinking about this. Like if they ended by the end of the year, but we waited till fall, like quarter 3 or quarter 4
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
going back, that could be nice.
Yeah.
Either way, though, very, very exciting place to be in, like we were talking
Oh,
about.
God,
into the
yeah.
special, so should be fun. How many ever months of people speculating and
All the fan
Yeah,
art
let-
and fan fiction and cosplay.
The
Oh,
fan
please,
art
please,
already
please.
is insane.
Yeah.
Yes. Give us angsty animatics, please, please.
Yes. Oh my god.
With Gus.
Ooh.
Please. Angsty Gus animatics and Angsty Hunter animatics.
Angsty Hunter
Hunt
animatics.
Low animatics.
Hunt Low
Animatics.
Yeah, well, I know a few people online. I'm going to be pressing them for that. I really need that.
How about an official Hunt Low animatic from the show turned into full animation?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
please.
God.
Yeah, in the specials. Okay, let us know your thoughts on everything we talked about about the last 2 episodes. What you think's coming in season 3, and what you're excited to speculating about heading into the specials. That's our Owl House season 2 discussion. We'll see if we have any discussions in the interim. We'll see how long it is, all TBD. But if you're subscribed to either our main feed, Overly Animated, or our Owl House feed, you will see whenever we have further Owl House discussions or are subscribed on our YouTube. Thank you to all of our patrons. You can support us via patreon.com/overlyanimated. Our patron of the podcast, especially Julie. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Steve, Michael, and Phoenician. Yes, so we will see. To be nothing yet on when the next part of Owl House is coming, but we'll be back whenever that is. And it's been really fun talking about this season 2 of Owl House. Thank you, you guys, for being on, and thank you everyone for listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.